But the ANC's Kusela Diko says the committee must rely on Parliament's legal advice.
The DA opinion is a nice to have. It's good to see that the DA has sought an opinion, but it's not binding on the committee.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has meanwhile suspended the country's Inspector General of Intelligence, Imtiaz Faisal, pending a parliamentary investigation into his conduct. Ramaphosa announced his decision last night after Parliament's Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence informed him about a complaint it received on Faisal. News 24 recently reported that Faisal recommended criminal charges against National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola and suspended crime intelligence boss Dumsani Kumalo for allegedly buying properties worth 120 million rand. The publication said that Faisal's recommendation was done 5 months before KZN top cop Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi accused the Inspector General of being part of a criminal cartel strategy. Presidency spokesperson Vincent Makwenya says the committee should be allowed to investigate Faisal without any interference.
And that the committee will conduct an investigation in line with Section 7, subsection 4 and Section 7, subsection 5 of the Intelligence Services Act, Act 40 of 1994.
And Israel's defense minister has threatened to resume fighting if Hamas does not honor the terms of a U.S.-supported ceasefire that halted the war in Gaza. The statement from Israel Katz office came after Hamas handed over the remains of 2 more deceased hostages and said it would be unable to retrieve any more bodies from the ruins of Gaza without specialized equipment. Since Monday, the Palestinian armed group has handed over back 20 surviving hostages to Israel. Before the 2 bodies were handed over late on Wednesday, Hamas had already returned the remains of 7 of the 28 known deceased hostages, along with an 8th body, which Israel said was not that of a former hostage. Israel, meanwhile, says it has transferred another 45 Palestinian bodies that had been in its custody to Nasser Hospital in southern Gaza, bringing the number returned to 90. Much of Gaza has been flattened by 2 years of relentless Israeli bombing, despite that Hamas says it's working to find the bodies of the dead hostages. U.S. President Donald Trump has not given up hope that Hamas will hand over all the bodies.
So we have the living hostages all back. They returned some more today. It's a gruesome process. I almost hate to talk about it. But they're digging. They're actually digging. There are areas where they're digging and they're finding a lot of bodies. Then they have to separate the bodies. You wouldn't believe this. And some of those bodies have been in there a long time. And some of them are under rubble. They have to remove rubble. But there are graves, and some are in tunnels that died in tunnels that are way down under the earth.
Gold is trading at $4,134.41 an ounce. The rand is at 17.34 to the dollar, 23.28 to the pound, 20.23 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $62.38 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident in Centurion on the N14 south approaching the Brakfontein interchange. Is already causing delays. Please be on the lookout there and approach with care if you can. Please try to avoid this one by using the N1 north towards Border Avenue.
And in your sport, the Bulls make 11 changes to face Connacht tomorrow night. Reynard Ludwig named as captain. At the Women's Cricket World Cup, Rain rescues England against Pakistan. And the SA men's hockey team thrash Ghana 11-3 to book their place in the Africa Hockey Cup of Nations final.
A fine day in store for Gauteng today. Johannesburg starting at 14 degrees, peaking at 31. Pretoria 15 and 33. Vereeniging 10, reaching a high of 31 degrees as well. The top story in EWN this hour: the search for a missing light aircraft in KwaZulu-Natal will resume this morning.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
It's 8 minutes after 6 o'clock. Welcome to 702 Breakfast on this 16th of October, the year of our Lord 2025. Welcome one, welcome all. Where are you listening to us from? Are you in Centurion? Maybe you're in fancy Centurion, Gulf Estate, or just Turkop. Are you in Cerutiville? Are you in Castleview, Cason, Carlsworld? Where are you listening to us from? Are you in Dane? Do you know in Dane?
You know what the funny thing is for me when you say these names? Nobody ever says they're from there, but people definitely live there. I've met someone, I think you said Davidsonville yesterday?
Yes. You've never met anyone from there?
No.
If you're from Dane, you let Muteo know you exist, right? Hello and welcome. Amokelang Ramila is here on traffic. And she's not from Tendane.
No, I'm not from Tendane. I'm not. But I'm looking forward to hearing someone from there.
Anyone
I don't even know where that
Tendane.
place is. Is it in the Eastern Cape?
It's in the Eastern Cape.
Okay.
In the former Republic of the Transkei. That gained independence on the 26th of October 1976. That was the propaganda of the time, hey? Isn't it amazing how I still remembered all these years later? Muteo Hare is here. You've already heard his voice murmuring in the background. Good morning, young man.
Morning, Bongs.
Baphelile and Samtanda, the producers, taking your calls. Sfiso has your news. Cindy, your sport.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Ever been in a community that is far away from resources, needed the police and waited and waited and waited, needed an ambulance and waited and waited and waited? Well, folks in Orange Farm are saying no more of that, please. They have come up with a community policing forum, 400 strong, volunteers, men and women. In the dark of night, they are wearing these reflective vests. They walk, they cycle, they patrol the dusty streets, keeping an eye out for trouble, and it's made a real difference. So as you may know, 702 has partnered with Fix Local, and we're sharing inspiring stories of individuals making a difference in their community. We're going to speak to Ufrida Ho, who is a Fix Local journalist, about this initiative in Orange Farm and what difference it is making. You may remember I spoke to Professor Sakile Buhlungu, the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Fort Hare in 2023. In those days, there was a 5 million rand bounty on his head. Criminals had said, you get rid of this guy, we'll give you 5M. Just sit with that for a moment. In a country where we lie to ourselves, perhaps, and say we have rule of law, there's a bounty on the head of an educational institution, an historic one at that. How much then is the recent trouble at Fort Hare University linked to efforts to root out corruption, which is what Professor Buhlungu has been doing? This is an internationally recognized scholar. I think he was the Dean of Humanities at UCT before taking up this post. This wasn't some guy, from the University of Ouagadougou. And all due respect to the University of Ouagadougou, but that's not what you readily think of when you think of eminent scholars, right? This is a guy who said, country duty, I'm going to go fix the University of Oliver Tambo. I'm going to go fix the University of Robert Mugabe. I'm going to go fix the University of Julius Nyerere. We're going to speak to one of the professors there, Andres Poseidonhood, who says when he arrived, he could barely find a functioning toilet. A functioning toilet because there were vested interests who were just raping that institution and denuding it of all effectiveness. Buhlungu came in, closed those taps, and they wanted to kill him. And now, what do you see? Protests of students in October, suddenly demanding for the Vice-Chancellor to step down in October. We're not kids. We're not kids. What would you do? Forget what you would do, actually. Amo, imagine your parents have sacrificed. Maybe you even have a bursary. And there you are in October, burning campus buildings down. What might your parents have said to you?
Come home, actually.
To what kind of welcome? Imagine they see you on TV.
They see, oh, I'm part of the protest.
Part of
I'm part of the students
Yes.
that are. they would have been very disappointed. They would actually phone and say, I'm so disappointed in you. What are you doing? Who taught you that? What is that you're doing?
We're not kids. We're not kids. Whilst others are burning institutions of higher learning, others are eager to go. And there's this incredible fund, right? The Arts and Culture Trust's Nyoloha Scholarship Program. They've got a scholarship worth 300,000 Rand to sponsor students who want to go and study further in the arts. We're going to be speaking to 2 recipients a little after 8 o'clock. And then, oh my gosh, the great Andy Narl joins us just before 9. I mean, it's a show.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
We've often asked the question, in fact, before I go to that one, what's your favorite food, Amo? What's that? You're thinking about it now and you're having to wipe your mouth because you can just taste it. If your husband wants to say sorry, this is what he gives you to apologize. If your family is trying to get you to, I don't know, be part of some gathering and you don't want to go, your mom comes and she says, come for tea, my child. And that's what she serves. And you just melt. All resistance crumbles. What is that food for you?
It has to be chocolate cake. Chocolate cake. And it has to be like really thick. You know, like how, as if it's a fondant, but it's a cake. You know how creamy,
fluffy,
dense. It has to melt in my mouth. That kind of a chocolate will wake me up at night.
Oh, stop.
Chocolate cake.
Stop.
No, I can't make it. I can't bake it.
It's 2 extremes for me. One is tripe with pap. The other is pesto pasta.
Pesto pasta.
A juicy pesto
tomato
pasta.
pesto or which pesto?
With chicken.
Okay. Your favorite food. All resistance will crumble if this is what's offered to you. You'll wake up at 2 a.m. and you'll go eat it. No objection. You would never ordinarily, but if that's the offer on the table, please, man.
I've accepted that apology a few times in my life, and I'm happy to.
More and more, please, right? What's your favorite food? We'll tell you why we're asking coming up.
Let's walk the talk.
7:02.
I've often asked the question, what would you do if you were pressured to do something that was either against the ethics or the rules of your organization? And many of us, of course, have said, no, we would stand firm on principle and do the right thing. I want to bring you up to speed with Parliament's Standing Committee on Public Accounts. You remember when we spoke to Scopa Chair Songezo Zibi a couple of weeks ago, he told us this inquiry was about to begin. I want you to listen to testimony then from yesterday at that Scopa hearing looking into the Road Accident Fund, where MPs were speaking to 2 former employees, the former National Security Manager at the RAF, Matume Luhumo, and Muntuwenkosi Mhlanga, who was the fund's former physical security manager. So the 2 detailed allegations of governance failures and overspending. There was a 480,000 Rand cap in terms of what could be spent for the security of the CEO. This is his VIP protection. That spend went up to 1.8 million Rand. They objected, they say, and they were fired. So yesterday, they're asked the question, both of them, by DA MP Patrick George Atkinson, how all of this being fired for resisting affected their personal lives. I want you to listen to Lihumo, who says this is what happened to him as a result of the fallout.
Can you just tell us and tell this inquiry, how has what has happened at the RAF affected you personally and your families?
The way it affected me personally and my family is that, if I may just put this, I do have three girls. 2 are at tertiary institution, different tertiary institutions in Pretoria, and I'm not funded by any. We don't have any bursary, so I'm funding their education from my pocket, myself and my wife. So it has been very, very, very tough, honorable members. And our last born is actually at high school, and there's no one who's helping us. It's me and my wife who has to make ends meet.
Imagine, hey? Imagine kids at varsity, and this is what they have to deal with. Financially broken, he says. He was also asked when last he'd received a salary. This really got to me. Listen to this.
I ask Mr. Mashlanga to respond. Can you just indicate, so when was the last time that you actually received a salary from the RAF?
The last time I received a salary would have been it was end of March 2024.
Okay.
Because end of April 2024, they didn't pay my salary. And at that time, I was not even aware that I was dismissed. Can you imagine taking your kids to school and it's payday and there's no salary? And you try to find out from the employer, which prides itself as the caring employer, by the way, and nobody's answering you. It's the 25th. Up until the 9th of May, you then receive this letter that you have been dismissed. And at that time, the damage has already been done because you were not expecting that your salary will be stopped that abruptly, honorable member.
Right? What would you do? What would you do? Because although we all want to say we've got savings and we've got a plan, and we would make a plan if we knew at least in advance, right? You don't even know in advance. Come the 25th, your salary is not even there. What made it worse is that these guys allege not only were they dismissed from the road accident fund, but not only were they dismissed from the road accident fund, but when they tried to get employment in the same sector doing the same jobs afterwards, they found to their horror the RAF had blocked them.
No, thank you for that. So since then, you've been without an income. You haven't been able to secure any employment elsewhere.
Honorable member, I then decided, because after the RAF dismiss you as a security, they will then run to SIRA. Our offices are, by the way, in the same precinct. So they will blacklist you. So as I'm sitting here, my SIRA status state that I'm a dismissed person. So no employer will ever want to look at your CV, because part of verification in our security is that your SIRA must be in good standing. So now, as we speak, I'm blacklisted, which means I cannot secure a security-related job.
So you don't get paid, you don't get told you're dismissed until weeks or days after, and then you can't go find employment in the same sector. Would you stand strong?
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
22 after 6, Mateo, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know this morning from you and the 702 landers, do you have a dash cam or other extra security features on your car? And how has this helped you? Has it helped you during perhaps an insurance claim that you could prove it because you had the video? Or maybe if it's anything to do with security, helped you recover your car?
I have a dash cam. Touch wood, I haven't had to use it.
I think that's okay. That's a good thing.
It's there.
But should the need arise? Should the need
arise? I
arise?
haven't had to use it. I'm so curious about what prompts the question.
702.
Conditions on this Thursday in Johannesburg. Fine day for Gauteng. Temperatures maxing at 31 in Jozi and Vereeniging, 33 in Pretoria. Your high in Cape Town is 21 and 22 for Durban.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand.
Well, we've got an accident. Bongani reported on the N14 South. It's right near the Braakfontein interchange. It's causing delays. Please be on the lookout there, or use the N1 North towards areas like the Centurion CBD, as well as Littleton Manor. If you were traveling on the N1 South towards the Berkeley interchange, do expect heavier traffic volumes. An accident has been reported there. It's right after Allendale Road, already causing some issues. There's also slow-moving traffic on the N1 South. This is just as you approach Rivonia Road due to a car stuck on the road in the left lane. Please be on the lookout there. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car full of groceries and a lady who will be attempting to make her mother-in-law's famous recipe for the family dinner tonight.
5 mils of sugar.
The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's butterflies and a potential bonding moment. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005, in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Things you need to know at this hour. We've been asking you what your favorite food is, the one that they will bribe you with, beg forgiveness from you with, the one that'll get you up at 2 a.m. And I'm also curious, do you know how to make it? Do you know how to make it? One of my favorite foods is pork belly, and I haven't tasted, except the one time I went to Reuben's. Okay, I was about to say, I haven't tasted one better than mine yet, but I have at Reuben's in Franschhoek. But yeah, I'm a close second. Imagine. Today marks World Food Day, celebrated every year on this day since 1979. The theme this year is Hand in Hand for Better Food and a Better Future. And it's all really, of course, about raising awareness about global hunger and to inspire action towards more sustainable and a food-secure future. Embattled Police Minister Senzo Mchunu is set to make his first appearance before Parliament today. That ad hoc committee investigating alleged criminal networks to the top echelons of the police is going to be hearing his side of the story, and I cannot wait. How much do you gamble, and how often do you play? Where do you usually gamble? Do you do so online, or do you actually go to the casino? What's the most you've ever lost? I've heard some horror stories around gambling. The National Gambling Board raising the alarm now over the surge in gambling adverts, many featuring models who appear younger, and they say all of this is putting the youth at risk. Statistics have revealed a staggering 1.5 trillion rand in gambling turnover for the 2024-25 financial year. Casinos, though, on the other hand, are in decline since COVID-19 because people don't necessarily want to go to be seen even gambling. Online options are increasingly the choice many make. And listen to this, the U.S. Department of State has revoked 6 visas of foreign nationals. One is from South Africa, but others are from Mexico, Brazil, Paraguay, and Argentina, following comments that mocked or criticized conservative activist Charlie Kirk. And they say they will not host foreigners who express hostility towards Americans. And Stevie Wonder's iconic Songs in the Key of Life debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 200 chart on this day in 1976. The album included hits like I Wish, Sir Duke, both of which reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100.
702.
The newspapers.
Let's catch up now with Fiso Zulu. What's grabbing your attention in the newspapers?
Good morning, Bongani. It is the Irish Independent this morning, and it's asking us a question about how to keep teenage girls from giving up on sports. So they're saying that as girls grow between primary and post-primary, and those are like typically age 12 and 13, they start giving up on sports as compared to boys, right? And obviously they're saying they're not going to make it to elite sporting, but boys are encouraged more to play sports than girls. And one of the schools that they spoke to, the teachers cite reasons like, well, when girls grow into their preteens, they worry about their bodies and they become body conscious and those sort of things. But how do we make sure that girls also continue to play sports as they get older, much like boys?
I think one of the things is to pay attention to women's sport. I think for many boys, part of the incentive is thinking I could be the next Ronaldo or I could play for Bafana Bafana. For many girls, that just isn't the case.
Yes.
You know, even at junior level, parents don't readily support girls' sport as much as they might the boys' sport. So I think that might also have something to do with that. Both the Business Day and the Citizen going big on this gambling issue and how it's snaring the youth and making lots of money. The Sowetan, though, has a front page story. Hunger stalks Gauteng schools. Thousands of learners at 9 schools in Tembisa and Ivory Park left without meals as the nutrition program runs into problems. Remember they said it wouldn't? Well, here we are.
EWN Business.
Right, Mutero, what do you want to know about our dash cams and extra security features on our vehicles? What prompts that question?
Well, Bongani, there's a company called Karoo. You might not know them, but it's the word Karoo with 5 O's. They're listed on the NASDAQ in the US and here on the JSE. The Internet of Things business says it was able to record revenues at 19% to about 2.3 billion rand. You might not know that they are the parent company of CarTrack. So they're the guys that run your car tracking systems as well. So the company's adjusted earnings per share increased by 16%. Our CarTrack subscriber base grew by 15% to 2.5 million. This often worries me because we know why people get trackers in this country, but that number keeps climbing. Now, things like dash cams, car trackers and tags, which don't rely on cellular networks, are proving quite popular for the firm in South Africa, with 155,000 new subscribers added in just the past 6 months. Karoo's operating profit also grew by 18%. The annualized recurring revenue at the company increasing 20% to 4.8 billion rand. They're also in logistics. That part of the business seeing revenue surge by 38% to 139 million rand, driven by e-commerce. They also have a delivery business as well.
All right. What is your dash cam telling you about the rand?
It's in a good position this morning. 17 rand 34 cents against the US dollar, 20 rand 22 cents against the euro, and a 23 rand 26 cents against the British pound. The price of gold up more than 0.5% at $4,233 an ounce, or platinum at $1,672. Brent crude now at $62.49 a barrel. More business after 7.
Straight to the news desk now we go. Good morning again, Young Sfiso Zulu.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. Education Quality Assurance Body Umalusi says it is satisfied with the progress in the appointment of people who will mark this year's matric exam papers. This follows a shortage of markers reported for certain subjects like history and paper 3 home and first additional languages. Umalusi says while some bodies, including the Independent Examinations Board and the Higher Education Departments, are still finalizing their appointments, it will continue to audit the process to ensure it meets required standards. Umalusi's Senior Manager Mary Antoinette Liwayo.
All markers appointed across the 4 assessment bodies will be trained prior to the commencement of the marking. The marking process will unfold in a staggered manner, commencing on the 15th of November and ending on 18 December 2025. Umalusi will monitor the implementation of a staggered marking approach to ensure that the process is not compromised.
The ANC-led multi-party coalition government in Gauteng says it has proved naysayers wrong who believed it wouldn't last long. It's been more than a year since the government of provincial unity was formed, consisting of 4 different political parties. The unity is a minority government, making less than 50% of total seats in the legislature. ANC Gauteng member and Education MEC Matume Chilwane yesterday spoke about the coalition's success during a media briefing.
There's no problem. Even in the legislature, there is nothing to worry. We passed the budget seamlessly. There are those who naysayers will say we will not be able to pass a budget. We pass a budget faster than even provinces where it's led by one party. We are very quick. So we don't have those challenges at all. You know, I think we co-govern with those that are in cabinet and those that are outside cabinet. We give them an opportunity to engage and contribute.
Today marks the last day of the 30-day taxi route and closure in some affected parts in Cape Town. The Western Cape High Court last month granted the Mobility Department an interdict ordering the closure of the routes. A dispute between taxi associations, Kata and Kodeta, led to deadly attacks on taxi operators and passengers. Around 10 people were shot in the past months because of the impasse. Mfuleni CPF spokesperson Vano Magula says while the move affected commuters for a while, it has brought relief because the killings have stopped.
So we then believe to democratic centralism that when the government has put policies in place, we have to respect those policies. However, it will not be always in favor of us, but we should abide by the law.
And emergency power outages have been brought in across almost all of Ukraine after an intensive campaign of Russian airstrikes on energy infrastructure. This will be the fourth consecutive winter of blackouts throughout Ukraine since Russia launched its full-scale invasion in February 2022. The Energy Ministry says all but 2 regions were affected. Ukraine has meanwhile ramped up attacks on Russian oil refineries in border regions and beyond. A fine day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures are at lows of 10 and 15 degrees, peaking at highs between 31 and 33.
And in the traffic, we still have got that accident on the N1 South in the Waterfall City area. Delays from Allendale Road. Pretoria Main Road is your alternative this morning towards Woodmead. While travelling in Centurion, we've got another accident reported on the N14 South. It's right near the Brackfontein interchange, causing delays.
The top story this hour, Umalusi says it is satisfied with the progress in the appointment of people who will be marking this year's Matric exam papers.
You can become a victim of a legal problem: wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
The South African Future Trust Summit is back and bolder than ever. This year, Standard Bank joins as headline sponsor, underscoring the summit's role as South Africa's leading platform for entrepreneurship. On 5 and 6 November at the Sandton Convention Center, connect with leading entrepreneurs, investors, and change makers. This is where bold ideas meet transformative investment. Get your tickets now at summits.southafricanfuturetrust.org in partnership with 702.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 200-gram Baker's Blue Label Murray biscuits assorted. Buy any 2 for 30 Rand. Save 14 Rand with Spar Rewards. Or 700-gram Spar pre-packed cheese assorted for 99.99. Save 33 Rand with Spar Rewards. Price is valid 8 to 20 October 2025. While stocks last. T's and C's apply.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Morning, Bongani. It's Tutugani here from Tembisa. Yeah, I'm just listening to this clip that you played of the guy from RAF. Some people are heartless. How do you do that to someone else? Yeah.
Good morning, Bongani. Good morning to Amo, Mateo, and the team behind the scene, as well as to the listeners. The clip that you played right now of the RAF security, it just brought back memories of 8 years ago, which was the last time I received a salary. I got dismissed from the work that I loved doing. I could wake up any time of the night and just do it with my eyes closed. I just got dismissed for being ethical. So this is nothing new. Yeah, and that actually made me hate radio till I came across, came across, but I decided to switch to talk radio, and you guys gave me hope.
Oh man, I imagine you're working in radio then. I would imagine that's the connection I would make there. We're talking, of course, about that parliamentary inquiry into the Road Accident Fund. One of the things that has been established is that one Stevens Msiza was hired, who was a former ANC Youth League bodyguard. He was hired and he was placed in charge of the protection of the former CEO of the Road Accident Fund, Collins Letswalo. It's understood the RAF paid millions for security, and the price of that, or the amount, just kept going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. And the people who flagged it to say, hang on, the rules of the RAF say we may not spend more than R500,000. Why are we spending all these millions? They say they were sidelined, they were kicked out of the organization, and they were blacklisted to make sure they never worked again. The one chap said he went, on the 25th of the month. His salary wasn't paid. He started asking questions. Only on the 9th of the next month did he get a letter of dismissal. Can you imagine? And very quickly, as he tries to get employment elsewhere, he's been blacklisted. Yeah, ne?
Let's talk.
We're listening.
Good morning, Bongani and team. Talking about place names in Gauteng, do you know that Hartbeespoort and Hartbeespoort are two different places? The one's by the dam, and the other one is a suburb north of Pretoria. And often you hear people announcing on the radio that they're at Hartbeespoort, when in fact they are nowhere near that suburb in northern Pretoria, Tshwane. Have a good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Bongs. I'm listening from Midrand. I'm from Tsendane, Diavele. Diavele and Tsendane. I'm from there.
Good morning, Motel. Do you know a village called Ofimvaba? I'm not sure if I'm calling it right. Bongani, please help me with the pronunciation. The place is in the Eastern Cape. Ofimvaba. Am I calling it right? I always wondered what it means. Please help me out, Bongani. Let me know what Ofimvaba means, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Apparently it's in the Eastern Cape.
We're talking about names of places. So, Amo, Tsendane is a place. And there's at least one voice note you've heard from a person who hails from Tsendane. Ofimvaba is in the Eastern Cape. Colloquially, the locals call it Cough Town.
Okay.
Because Xhosas are like that. There's no other explanation. It means to froth, it's to froth a goat skin milk bag, imvaba. So to froth imvaba, right? That's where it comes from. It could also, it's assumed, could be a reference to a nearby river that gets quite frothy after there's been some heavy rainfall, and it looks a little bit like a milk bag. Another interpretation comes from the traditional Xhosa practice of pressing a goat skin bag to break up lumps in sour milk, of imvaba. That's what that means.
EWN Sport.
19-7. I am definitely one of those people, Tom, who has often thought of Hartbeespoort, meaning the dam, when in fact it's Hartbeespoort. So now we know. Cindy Paluta, on this World Food Day, what's your favorite food?
World Food Day.
World Food Day. What's your favorite food? The thing that we can bribe you with, or
Nothing.
we can apologize. Like if I really want to say I'm sorry and I give you this thing, what would it be?
Everything excites me except a Black Forest cake.
What's wrong with the Black Forest cake?
Oh, what is going on with a Black Forest cake?
It's
What is it?
delish.
Is it a chocolate cake? It's got, what is it? It's got stuff in it. No.
You don't like Black
No,
Forest?
I don't even know why they still make it. And then there's nothing worse than somebody, and I mean, I'm not looking a gift horse in the mouth, but there's nothing worse than when somebody gets you a Black Forest cake on their birthday and then it's like a little bit stale.
Ooh,
You know, and you
yes,
see, both of
yes.
you, both Amo and
Okay.
Bongani
But
scrunched up
it's
their
the
faces
staleness.
because I've never had a fresh Black Forest cake that I've gone, that's so delicious.
Well, maybe somebody will send
got
you.
like a berry
maybe
in it.
somebody will give you a fresh Black Forest cake.
It's got
to
like a
change your mind.
berry.
There is sometimes that as well.
Yuck.
All
No,
right.
don't send that to me.
Let's talk about the United Rugby Championship.
Yep, because the Bulls have made 11 changes to their side for tomorrow night's game with Connacht. Reynard Ludwig will captain the team. The Bulls also confirming the match of the Storm is scheduled for December the 27th at Loftus has been moved to next year, March. Ireland have captain Caelan Doris back from injury to lead the team in the upcoming Nations Series against the All Blacks, Japan, Australia and South Africa. Doris has been out with a shoulder injury since May. In cricket, Pakistan ended the Proteas 10-match winning streak with a 93-run win in the first test. Captain Aidan Markram still proud of his side.
Yeah, always happy with the fight. It's one thing us as a team we pride ourselves on. Never throwing in the towel, never giving up. Believing that the really difficult things are still possible. And although we weren't on the right side of it, we showed some good fight and resilience. It's always a nice box to tick post every game. If you can tick that box, I feel like it's still good for the change room.
Second test starts Monday at the Women's Cricket World Cup. England were rescued by the rain against Pakistan. England posted 133 for 9 in their reduced 31 overs. Pakistan were cruising on 34 without loss when the rain came down. England tops the table still ahead of Australia, South Africa and India. At the Africa Hockey Cup of Nations, the SA men's team thrashed Ghana 11-3 and will play Egypt in Saturday's final, while the SA women finished goalless with Kenya and must beat Nigeria tomorrow to make Sunday's final. The Formula One's in the USA this weekend. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff confirming that George Russell and Kimi Antonelli will remain the team's drivers for next season. And there's live golf on the go at the India Open, where 5 players lead on 4 under through 12 holes. They're 1 ahead of South African Richard Sterney, who in turn is on 3 under, 1 ahead of his fellow countryman Jaden Shaper. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
702. Serving the 702 family in 702 land, including those of you in Melville. Melville is a vibrant and bohemian suburb near Wits and UJ. The geology of the nearby Melville koppies goes back 3 billion years. Stone Age tools have been found on the koppies, and several iron smelting furnaces dating back to the Iron Age have been excavated and preserved in the Melville Koppies Nature Reserve. 702. Let's walk the talk across 702 land, including the trendy neighborhood of Melville.
OUTsurance Business Insurance is not just insurance, it's emergency help when you need it most. Switch today and enjoy services like Help at Out with 24/7 access to panic assistance, road assistance, and even office assistance. So if you've got a catering company, a boutique hotel, a guest house, you're a tour operator, or you're in other industries, OUTsurance Business Insurance, well, they are trusted experts in insuring your business. Get a quick and easy quote today. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. A licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
The joy of what if we just let it go to voicemail. The joy of what if we skipped the flight for a front row seat to the open road. The joy of what if the wrong turn took us the right way. The joy of what if we didn't share this view and kept it our secret. The joy of what if not being there yet was the best part. Choose the joy of what if with BMW.
Checkers Extra Weekend is back. For 3 days only, save extra on deals like Fanta Sprite or Stony soft drink, 2 litres, any 2 for 32 Rand.
Quiz on 702.
Hi, Uncle Bongani. My name is Fiona. I'm 12 years old. I go to Georgia Combined School, and I'm very, very excited to play this quiz with you.
We're excited to play with you too, Fiona. We've got 10,000 Rand up for grabs.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview. EWN.
13 to 7, this Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by OUTsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on your car insurance if you don't ask them for 500 Rand. It's the usual story at this hour, isn't it? A crash on the N1 South. How bad?
Well, Bongani, it's really bad. It's right near the Baklu interchange, delays towards the turn-off coming out of Allendale Road. So please try to use the Pretoria Main Road as an alternative. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North. In fact, a bit of a stop and go because of the roadworks that are taking place along the N3 North between the Geldenhuys interchange and the Baklu turn-off. Please be on the lookout there and drive with care. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Clever late excuse number 96. Your dog ate all your left shoes and you couldn't find a matching pair. Not the strongest excuse. Fortunately, with the OUTsurance pointsman on the roads, you don't need to come up with creative excuses for being late. because they're there to ease traffic congestion to get you there quickly and safely. OutSurance really means it when they say you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, OutSurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Did you know that all residential complexes are legally required to register with the Community Scheme Ombud Service, or CSOS? Registration is easy and it's free. All registered schemes can access a quick and affordable alternative dispute resolution body and can also learn more about the rights and responsibilities of people living within a community scheme. We'd like to appeal to all unregistered community schemes to register with the CSOS today. Visit csos.org.za to find out more.
Oh, dreamers. They love to watch the dice roll, chasing that rush, that one big win. But then there's a different kind of player. Those who rely on strategy and not chance, who know that winning is earned. Those people play with SportPesa. SportPesa, make it count. SportPesa is licensed by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No person under the age of 18 permitted to gamble. National Responsible Gambling Program toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 650 710. Winners know when to stop.
PSG Asset Management sees opportunities others have missed. Like that stock, once up, now down. We thought good price and started our in-depth research there. Turns out it was a quality undervalued company working hard to restore market confidence to deliver soaring returns when they did. Because for us, a good price is just the beginning. To partner with us, contact your financial advisor or visit psg.co.za. PSG Asset Management Pty Limited is an authorized financial services provider and part of PSG Financial Services Group, a licensed controlling company.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? Brought to you by OutSurance. 3,000 Rand is up for grabs. So you need to send us an answer based on something that piqued your interest during the show, and for that you win 1,000 Rand. You WhatsApp us your name and that answer to 072 702 1702. Later, someone else will ask a question to get to your answer to win 2,000 Rand. Now, you always stand a better chance of being selected if you have got yourself a quote from OutSurance. So SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Up next, the Orange Farm community take matters into their own hands. What does it mean for community safety? We're highlighting stories of individuals or groups making a difference in their communities with Fix Local. Before that, let's give away some cash, shall we? Fiona is 12 years old, goes to Joweto Combined School and wants to be a geography teacher later on in life. Fiona, you have to get the geography questions right, hey?
Yes.
Yes, you do. All right, here we go. KG, start the clock. In maths, what is 60 minus 40?
Please come again.
What is 60 minus 40?
20.
Correct. Spell the word singer.
SINGER.
Correct. What color always moves second in chess? Is it white or black?
Black.
Correct. In which country is the famous city Venice? Is it in Australia or is it in Italy?
Australia.
It's in Italy. True or false? The planet Saturn is famous for its rings.
True.
Correct. In movies, which ogre did Princess Fiona marry?
Shrek.
Correct. Which season is between spring and autumn? Is it winter or summer?
Winter.
It's summer. What energy beginning with K does an object have because of its motion?
Kinetic.
Correct. True or false? Can't complete the question. We took a little while there, Fiona. You are doing really, really well. You walk away with 6 correct answers, and that means you win 600 Rand. You're aged 10 to 13. Send us a WhatsApp voice note to 072 702 1702, and we could be calling you.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions.
Your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
8 to 7 now. On to this. Do you live in a community where getting help seems or feels like pulling teeth? You call for an ambulance and it doesn't arrive. You call for the police and they take hours and hours, if not days. Well, the people of Orange Farm were tired of exactly those scenarios. So they decided to band together. Picture this. Volunteers, a force 400 strong, men and women, walking, cycling in reflective vests, keeping an eye on those dusty streets, looking for any potential trouble, protecting the neighbors. And they're not paid, they're not armed, but they are the real eyes and ears of the police. And they fight all sorts of things: gangsterism, crime, drugs, gender-based violence, thanks to a partnership with local businesses and a non-profit RADA. So these patrollers are making their streets safer. So what we're doing is we're partnering at 702 with Fix Local. And the idea is to share inspiring stories of individuals making a difference in their communities. And today we're putting the spotlight on Orange Farm. It's a story called Changing Lives One Patrol at a Time in Orange Farm. And the journalist writing that story is Eufrida Ho, who is a freelance Fix Local journalist. Eufrida, very good morning to you, and thank you for your time. Welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Morning, Bongi. How are you? I mean, Bongani, how are you?
I'm very well,
early for
thank
me.
you.
Very early for me, sorry.
No.
I'm listening to that child answering questions. I go, I can't answer any questions. No, morning, Bongani. Thank you so much for having me on, and thanks for the opportunity to chat a little bit about the story.
Listen, talk to us about this initiative in Orange Farm. 400 volunteers working day and night to keep their community safe. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, and the thing why we highlighted the story was, yes, it's about fighting crime, but really also understanding that we first have to address the underlying needs of a community. If you're to build things like community activism, stronger communities, and in this case with Orange Farm, it was a lot around people who are unemployed and their immediate needs. So 400 sounds huge, but they explained to us actually what it's about, and I think unpacking that a little really starts actually casting a light on how we actually inspire communities when they feel so despairing, especially if you're up against, like you mentioned, gangsterism, violence. We know the murder rate in Orange Farm is particularly high, gender-based violence. So what they did, which I think is the thing that we really wanted to highlight, is that they attracted people to work as ears and eyes, worked with local businesses who donated everything from reflective vests right through to vehicles, but essentially also when they worked with RADA, food parcels. So understanding that when people are unemployed and you're asking them to actually take care of each other, take care of their community, they're also really looking at the immediate needs of how to put food on the table tonight.
All right,
So
let me just ask you, Eufrida, I mean, how big a difference have they made? Have they been effective in reducing some of these crimes?
I went to look at the stats, and literally because I knew this question was going to come up, and discouragingly, they had a really high murder rate, I think, spike in about March this year. And really, I thought about it, and I said, it's a difficult thing. Do you tell people to stop patrolling or stop making effort when you're up against impossible challenges like what Orange Farm has? And I think Fix Local really is at the heart of this. How do we actually inspire people to take action, to find your own agency, especially in the face of absent and dysfunctional councils and authorities?
Of course, we also know many of the stories behind murder are from behind closed doors. You can have all the patrollers you want, but obviously sometimes those occur in people's homes, between people who know each other. So that's a little trickier. Now, there's one police station in the area. I mean, what kind of population size are we talking about?
I can't tell you that immediately off the top of my head, Bongani, but what the Andres Michelli, who's the CPF chairman, said that it's a really vast area, which is why bicycles is a critical part. Also, that was another thing, donating the correct thing. So for them, they really needed bicycles to actually cover some of the distances that they have to in a quite a widespread area. And the other thing they have is one large police station and one satellite police station, and that's about it. So they also did things like they set up women's only patrol groups. So essential, again, if you may be trying to be more sensitive to things like tackling gender-based violence. So again, just to come back to your early question, the stats are disappointing, but I think this is really the critical thing is when we don't give up, is when we're up against really difficult challenges. And for this community, incredibly inspiring. And like they said to us, we have people who, some of them stay with us for 15 years, some people stay for 6 months. But because they've come on things like, they included things like workshops, training, so now people have new skills. Is that when people leave, they might leave to become a security guard. Now suddenly someone's employed. And when you're able to actually uplift a community in that way, you're really doing good for a community. So for us, I think the story was particularly interesting because it looks like it's about tackling crime. But you're really trying to understand how do you make a community better in parallel ways, multiple ways, and I think that's the win.
Frida, I mean, you say that the stats are disappointing. Who knows how much worse they might have been without this patrol? I think that's the other way to look at it. Maybe just explain to me the partnership with RADA. Who are RADA and how were they involved in this?
Right. So RADA is the organization stands for rape, alcohol and drug abuse. So what they're trying to do is actually tackle all the social ills that actually lead us to the crime, the violence, and they've centered on those things. What drives crime when it comes to rape? We're looking at alcohol abuse, drug abuse. So they work a lot with that. And their core thing was coming into quite stressed communities and looking at how they can be a support, how they can lend support. And they actually, from the Orange Farm, was their first collaboration with community patrollers. And I think from that, they've reached out to other provinces. I'm just trying to remember which ones. But they've reached out. It's, I think it was throughout Gauteng and also extending throughout Gauteng. And then also they're next looking at Limpopo. Very much a similar model, bringing more people on board, giving them training, equipping them, and hopefully also to be able to, through things like a simple food parcel, also realizing that unemployed people have multiple challenges. It's not just about crime and looking out for your neighbor.
Frida, I appreciate your time. We're going to have to leave it there. Fixed local journalists there, putting a spotlight on community action in Orange Farm. And as you can hear, the ripple effects of being a part of this process are really bringing some benefits to those community members and volunteers.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
What country do we live in where there is a bounty on the head of an institution of higher learning? And are the fires recently seen at Fort Hare University anything to do with efforts to root out corruption at that institution? A really important conversation about higher education coming up next.
This is EWN.
Senzo Mchunu is scheduled to take the hot seat in Parliament.
Senior Council has requested that we will allocate him a day and a half.
And the president suspends the country's spy boss after complaints about his conduct. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Embattled Police Minister Senzo Mchunu will make his first appearance before Parliament today to answer allegations of undue political interference in police operations. Mchunu will give his testimony before Parliament's ad hoc committee probing police corruption over 3 days, where he is likely to be questioned about alleged links to certain crime syndicate members who tried to influence the disbanding of the Political Killings Task Team. His appearance follows 2 days of testimony by suspended Deputy Commissioner Shadrack Sibia, who spoke about his alleged role in the disbandment of the task team and the removal of 121 dockets from KZN to Pretoria. Babalo Ndenza reports.
One of the main allegations leveled against Senzo Mchunu during the last 2 weeks of hearings is how he gave a directive to disband the Political Killings Task Team, an operational matter that is in the domain of the National Commissioner. Commissioner Fani Masemola told the committee during his submission last week that he disagreed with the move, but never got a clear answer from Mchunu. Mchunu will also be grilled over links to controversial businessman Brown Mogotsi, who is accused of being part of the push to disband the task team. Committee chairperson Soviet Lechanyane said Mchunu's testimony will be over 3 days to give the evidence leader 2 days to lead evidence instead of 1.
Senior Council has requested that we will allocate him a day and a half So Thursday and Friday, the senior counsel will be leading evidence.
Mchunu will be questioned by MPs on Tuesday before Acting Police Commissioner Firoz Kachalia and former Police Minister Bheki Cele take the stand. Babalo Ndanza, Eyewitness News.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has suspended the country's Inspector General of Intelligence, Imtiaz Faisal, pending a parliamentary investigation into his conduct. Ramaphosa announced his decision last night after Parliament's Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence informed him about a complaint it received on Faisal. News 24 recently reported that Faisal recommended criminal charges against National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola and suspended crime intelligence boss Dumsani Khumalo for allegedly buying properties worth 120 million rand. The publication said that Faisal's recommendation was done 5 months before KZN top cop Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi accused the Inspector General of being part of a criminal cartel strategy. Presidency spokesperson Vincent Magwenya says the committee should be allowed to investigate Faisal without any interference.
And that the committee will conduct an investigation in line with Section 7, subsection 4 and Section 7, subsection 5 of the Intelligence Services Act, Act 40 of 1994.
The Road Accident Fund's communications head Macintosh Polela has described the organization as broken and dysfunctional. He appeared before Parliament's Oversight Inquiry on the Standing Committee of Public Accounts yesterday to testify about 2 media contracts worth R1 billion. But Polela also backed up earlier witness testimony of the fund's toxic working environment that has led to numerous alleged unfair suspensions and dismissals that have ruined many lives. Lindsay Dentlinga reports.
Following the testimony of 3 dismissed RAF officials on Tuesday, one of them who could not hold back tears in front of the committee, yesterday communications head Macintosh Polela said he could attest to the hardships many have faced working at the fund. With the former CEO gone and a new interim board in place, Polela says some employees are now seeking to exact revenge on managers.
Where we are currently is we are vacillating between hope and a total cancerous and fetid situation.
Polela did not appear confident a new board could bring about the needed reform and says he issued this warning to the new chairperson.
And I put it to him that if he stays long enough in the RAF, he is going to end up becoming part of the problem, because I have seen it happening.
Polela claimed that not even the law can protect employees who challenge instructions from powerful individuals. The inquiry will resume next week. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And Israel's defense minister has threatened to resume fighting if Hamas does not honor the terms of a US-backed ceasefire that halted the war in Gaza. The statement from Israel Katz office came after Hamas handed over the remains of 2 more deceased hostages and said it would be unable to retrieve any more bodies from the ruins of Gaza without specialized equipment. Since Monday, the Palestinian armed group has handed back 20 surviving hostages to Israel. Before the 2 bodies were handed over late on Wednesday, Hamas had already returned the remains of 7 of 28 known deceased hostages, along with an 88th body, which Israel said was not that of a former hostage. Israel, meanwhile, says it has transferred another 45 Palestinian bodies that had been in its custody in Nasser Hospital in southern Gaza, and that brings the number of returned to 90. Much of Gaza has been flattened by 2 years of relentless Israeli bombing. Despite that, Hamas says it is working to find the bodies of the dead hostages. US President Donald Trump says that he's not giving up hope that Hamas will hand over the bodies.
So we have the living hostages all back. They returned some more today. It's a gruesome process. I almost hate to talk about it. But they're digging. They're actually digging. There are areas where they're digging and they're finding a lot of bodies. Then they have to separate the bodies. You wouldn't believe this. And some of those bodies have been in there a long time. And some of them are under rubble. They have to remove rubble. But there are graves, and some are in tunnels that died in tunnels that are way down under the earth.
Gold is trading at $4,134.41 an ounce. The rand is at 17.34 to the dollar, 23.28 to the pound, 20.23 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $62.38 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got heavy delays on the N3 North between the Modderfontein Road and the Baklu interchange. That's due to roadworks along this route. Please be on the lookout there. In 4 ways, an accident reported on Winnie Mandela Drive right near Leslie Avenue. Delays from Witkoppen Road.
And in your sport, the Proteas well aware of what needs to be worked on after losing by 93 runs to Pakistan in the first test. Rain to the rescue for England's women against Pakistan at the Cricket World Cup. And in Formula One, Mercedes to stick with Antonelli and Russell next season.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. Johannesburg is at a low of 14 degrees, peaking at 31. Pretoria, 15 and 33 for Vereeniging 10, reaching a high of 31 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Embattled Police Minister Senzo Mchunu will make his first appearance before Parliament today to answer allegations of undue political interference in police operations.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
All eyes are going to be on Senzo Mchunu this morning. That SAPS ad hoc committee looking into allegations of corruption, of a nexus between the top echelons of our law enforcement and criminal syndicates, and all of it pointing fingers at the suspended police minister and how he is alleged to have been pulling the strings behind the scenes. He's going to give his version today. His appearance, of course, as you've heard from Sfiso Zulu now, following 2 days of testimony by the suspended Deputy Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya, who I do not think covered himself in glory so far. So here we go. We're going to hear from Senzo Mchunu in his own words. In the meantime, let's look at the mess that the US is becoming. The Defense Force, not the Defense Force, the Department of Defense, I beg your pardon, the Pentagon, now has issued a directive. They're coming for journalists. If you want to write a story about the Department of Defense, best you ask their permission. Have you ever? In the meantime, Donald Trump has all but openly spoken about CIA operations to go into Venezuela. It's an incredible admission. Have a listen to the US president. Of course, he says they're going to go deal with drug smuggling and illegal migration. But he's saying the CIA is inside Venezuela operating. Have a listen.
I authorized for two reasons, really. Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America. They came in through the border. They came in because we had an open border policy. And as soon as I heard that, I said, a lot of these countries, they're not the only country, but they're the worst abuser. And they've entered they've allowed thousands and thousands of prisoners, mental institution, people from mental institutions, insane asylums, emptied out into the United States. We're bringing them back. But that's a really bad, and they did it at a level that probably not, many countries have done it, but not like Venezuela. They were down and dirty. And the other thing are drugs. We have a lot of drugs coming in from Venezuela. And a lot of the Venezuelan drugs come in through the sea, so you get to see that. But we're going to stop them by land also.
So he's essentially saying he's authorized the CIA to operate inside Venezuela. It's an incredible admission by a US president. He stopped short, of course, of saying that the aim is to remove President Nicolas Maduro, but it's an extraordinary admission from a sitting US president about CIA operations. The focus is, of course, on Senzo Mchunu today appearing before that ad hoc committee in Parliament. But next week is going to be the turn of another police minister, the former Minister Bedtime, who's also going to be testifying before that very committee. This is on the 23rd and 24th as that inquiry into alleged corruption and political interference in the justice system continues. So we'll keep an eye out for that.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Things you need to know at this hour. It was on this day in 1984 that Desmond Tutu received the Nobel Peace Prize for bravely standing up against the forces of apartheid. I want you to listen, of course, to an interview he conducted in 2007 in Sweden. Archbishop Desmond Tutu speaking to a journalist there, Marika Grisel, about what it takes to be a good leader and how sometimes it takes moral courage to resolve conflict.
Ultimately, you want a leader who is also a servant. When you look at some of the greatest leaders, Nelson Mandela is someone who is not in it for his own aggrandizement. He leads on behalf of, for the sake of. That is one. And it almost always is that the great leader will show just how he is or she is a leader for the sake of the land by suffering. That you are not one who is seeking self-glorification, who wants to feather his nest.
Right? Leadership is about sacrifice, about serving, about humility. Desmond Tutu on this day receiving the Nobel Peace Prize for standing up against apartheid and promoting peaceful change. What do you love about food? I asked earlier. What's your favorite food? What's that meal your spouse uses to apologize? That meal your parents use to bribe you, to get them to do you a particular favor, or for you to get you to do them a particular favor. I beg your pardon. Today is World Food Day, celebrated every year on this day since 1979. We're all excited about Bafana Bafana going to the World Cup yesterday. The other thing that happened yesterday was that President Trump stirred the pot by suggesting that some of the World Cup matches, already scheduled, by the way, might be moved from cities he is calling unsafe, in inverted commas. Essentially, cities that are run by Democrats. Boston is one of 11 U.S. host cities for next year's FIFA tournament. And he's saying Boston might not be a good enough city for the World Cup. And as I told you earlier, it was on this day that Stevie Wonder's iconic album Songs in the Key of Life debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200.
702. Up next.
The Big Interview.
EWN Traffic.
That was in the year 1976, by the way. In the meantime, at 7:15, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. What's happening in Norkham Park, Amo?
Bongani, there are heavy delays along several roads, including Modderfontein Road and Moy River Drive. This is due to an accident reported right at Modderfontein and Moy River Drive, and it's causing about a 20-minute hold-up at that intersection. Please be on the lookout there and try to avoid. If you are traveling in Soweto, we've got another accident scene reported in the Orlando area. It's right at the Caroline Circle, Soweto Highway and Klipspruit Valley Road, causing heavy traffic volumes. I'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
65-year-old Helena doesn't play around when it comes to her budget. That's why she's thrilled to be with Outsurance, paying only 398 Rand a month for her 2025 Hyundai Exeter. And 50-year-old Priya knew she couldn't let the deal pass her by, paying 1,178 Rand a month for her 2024 Haval H6 4x4. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142 today. So that's out, OUT, to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Calling all golf pros. Hollywood Bets invites you to step onto the green. Tee up, take a swing, and enjoy glorious golf action from electrifying competitions and thrilling live tournaments. Get ready to conquer the fairway and chase epic fortunes. Ready to master the odds and experience your crowning moment? Bet now on all the excitement and prepare to make your hole-in-one shot to sensational success. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008.
Vitality Chicken Run, flavored by Nando's, is bringing heat, flavor, and feel-good energy to Josie streets on Saturday, 8th November. From the first step to the finish line, it's pure Josie pride, running and celebrating the city like never before. So choose your route, 5 kilometers or 10, both designed to make you sweat, smile, and soak up the city spirit while you experience Josie like never before. Reimagined, revitalized through Josie My Josie. You can skip the parking stress and hop onto the Gautrain to Park Station. Then catch the free Prasa train straight to Ellis Park. Parking at the Gautrain will cost R1. R1. Enjoy peace of mind with full safety support from City of Joburg, JMPD, SAPS, and the on-the-ground partners. And for every participant who crosses the finish line, a meal will be donated to a child in the Lawrenceville community, making that final step over the finish line even sweeter. Secure your spot now at racepass.com. Search Vitality Chicken Run and join the fun. It's fueled by Nando's.
At the heart of global conversations shaping our future, Africa's voice is more important than ever. As proud lead sponsor of the B20, the Standard Bank Group is honored to showcase the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Because driving Africa's growth isn't just our ambition, it's our purpose. Tune in every Monday from 3 p.m. for the Standard Bank B20 In Brief for key insights and updates around the B20. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
In a world shaped by those who build, disrupt, and reimagine, there comes a gathering not just of minds, but of futures. The South African Future Trust Summit, in partnership with Standard Bank, is where top entrepreneurs, innovators, and changemakers converge. It's where the future of enterprise is redefined. On 5 and 6 November, you could be there. Stand a chance to win tickets to the South African Future Trust Summit on 702. WhatsApp the keyword SAFT with your name and ID number, telling us how you would benefit from attending the summit to 072-702-1702. Then catch 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa to find out if you're a winner. The South African Future Trust Summit, in partnership with Standard Bank. Your summit, your way, on 702. TCs and more on PrimeMediaPlus.com.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
We've got some tough questions to answer as a country. Who have we become that a bounty on the head of an institution of higher learning can be the norm? Do you remember 5 million rand was the price on the head of the Vice Chancellor of the University of Fort Hare? Last week, the campus was literally on fire following protests there. How much of all of this has to do with efforts by that institution to root out corruption? We have seen vested interests oppose those kinds of moves before, and it's one I think we cannot turn away from. We've invited Professor Andries Besaidenout, who's written a really thoughtful piece about what is happening at Fort Hare University, and we thought he'd explain it. He's a professor of development studies at the university's Department of Sociology, Anthropology and Development. Professor Besaidenout, thank you so much for your time and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Thank you, Bongani. Good morning, and I'd be happy if we do first names. It's Andries.
Andries, that's fine by me. Andries, firstly, we haven't spoken to Professor Buhlungu in quite a while. I'm suspecting he's no longer giving interviews. How is he, and is he in good shape? Is he in good nick?
I think he went through a really tough time. He was, what I understand is he was quite devastated, and this is what he's written, that he was physically ill after these arson attacks on both the Alice and the East London campuses. But I see he's back in fighting spirit, and I'm quite relieved. He's done an interesting interview in the Daily Maverick, where he put his version of events on the record. And I think the Vice Chancellor with the spine of steel is back in the public domain.
Indeed. My regards to him when you see him next. Let's talk about how the University of Nelson Mandela, Oliver Tambo, Govan Mbeki, Robert Sobukwe, Mangosuthu Buthelezi, many other luminaries on the continent has got to this. In your piece, you speak about how when you arrived, there was hardly a functioning toilet. Just explain the state of the institution you found.
Okay. So I joined the University of Fort Hare 8 years ago. And I should mention that I joined the university because of Professor Buhlungu. I worked with him as a colleague at both the universities of Pretoria and the University of the Witwatersrand. So I knew him from there, and I wanted to support the project. When I joined the campus, I was really struck by how dilapidated it was and how little money was spent on upkeep. The place really was a mess, and at times it was really difficult. I mean, it's a banal example to give, but it was really hard to find functioning toilet. When I walked into my teaching venue the first time, there was no furniture. And I was told someone had left the door open over the December break, and students had taken the tables and the chairs to their residence rooms. They were, and the word they used is squat. They were squatting 4 to 5 students to a room because there weren't enough residence rooms. There were torn and tattered curtains from the 1970s on the windows, and I really didn't feel that it was a dignified space for students to learn in. So I think what I observed and what I think the key issue was is that the contracts the university had signed with service providers weren't to the benefit of the university. A lot of people making a lot of money off the university, but that money wasn't going to the project it was supposed to support, and that is giving our students a decent chance to study. A lot of that has changed, and now, Bongani, you can think people were making millions out of this institution and not doing much for it. And the pushback started immediately. Professor Buhlungu's inaugural as Vice-Chancellor of the university was disrupted in a disgraceful way. One of the first things he did was to build new student residences. The situation is already better. We also built a brand new student clinic. There were new laboratories, so it takes a long time when the wheels are oiled by corruption and you stop the corruption, all the wheels stop. So it's difficult to get things going then on a basis of proper governance. But those changes were starting to kick in. It's amazing how the campus has picked up. Simple things like wheelchair access to buildings is getting done. My teaching venue is lovely now. It's a wonderful new classical building, and it's been renovated. So the gardens look beautiful. So from where I stand, the university is really on an upward trajectory.
So let me ask you this then, Andries, because some of the protesters, some of the students claimed all sorts of things, including feeling unsafe on campus. They claim corruption continues at that university. They claim, for example, that they don't always learn in dignified conditions. How is it that outside or external forces would use students who are benefiting in the way you describe to go as far as what we have seen last week in those arson attacks?
Yeah, there's a context here, Bongani. And first of all, I have to say that students often have legitimate gripes. They do. Our campus is still not where it should be. After decades of neglect, we are definitely not where where the privileged universities are. So when our students talk about a lack of dignity, they do have a point. So I fully agree with them there. But what we've seen is an upward trajectory from where things were. They were much worse, and I think the newer students are maybe not aware of how bad things were, and they might not see that upward trajectory. We've had 2 terrible incidents on campus recently, and we're all emotional about that. One of my students in my honors class, Yonela Magawule, died on campus, and it was a murder after a student bash. And there's another, a recent suicide that happened, seemingly a suicide. And these are all, it makes us all feel very unsafe and worried about this, but there are investigations that are ongoing.
Yeah.
What I do find reprehensible, though, is that such incidents, such tragic incidents, are cynically used by by political forces. And here I refer to both student and external forces. We do have eyewitness accounts of external influence. The university has formally written to the government about the involvement of a local councillor. You know, local elections are coming up. But also there's a disgraced former SRC president who's key in all of this, who pleaded guilty to a gender-based violence incident, for example, and who constantly misrepresents matters in formal letters to the government. So we also have a fight over a disgraced former SRC president that's part of this.
All right.
Part of the mix.
Those internal dynamics notwithstanding, have you received the support that you need?
I don't think we have. You know what really worries me is this. If you want to sustain an upward trajectory, if you want to maintain a project of rooting out corruption, and I'm sure there still is corruption. Again, you know, you don't have decades of corruption. You know, Tembisa Jonas spoke about the de-Bantustanization, the need for de-Bantustanization. In the Eastern Cape, a lot of the old-style Ciskei and Transkei politics, you know, the kind of corruption we had in those days reinvented itself in a new context. I mean, I'm astounded when I drive past Bishu and I see there's a street, a brand new street called Independence Avenue. And our provincial government has a building called State House, as if the Bishu massacre never happened. So what really worries me is how these old-style corrupt politics from the Ciskei and Transkei times are still with us. And these are the kinds of practices. They're not new practices. They're deeply entrenched and deeply embedded. And they stay embedded when you have chaos.
It's a fight for the life of Fort Hare, isn't it?
It is. And what we
survival.
Want, precisely. Bongani, what we want is an orderly, systematic handover from this Vice-Chancellor to the next. And what we need is a good process, and a process where we will appoint an academic, a seasoned academic, rather than a political player who understands what a university is all about, so that we can solidify these changes for the benefit of our poor students. You know, 95% of our students are on NSFAS. The politicians and the elite's children don't come to us. They go to the elite universities, and there's big drama when things are disrupted there, but seemingly us rural universities don't seem to matter. You know, there was an assassination at Walter Sisulu University recently. How much do we talk of, you know, it's a deputy vice-chancellor. Is that discussed in the national domain? So for us on the margins of society, and I'm so grateful that you're giving this airtime, we need the whole country to swing in behind us and to say that arson and violence is not necessary. It seems like crazy. It seems like, why would students burn their own university? But for political players, this is deeply rational. Chaos is rational because you stop an orderly handover of an institution that's clamping down on corruption. Wow. And that's what this is about.
All right. Appreciate your time, Professor Andries Besadenhout, Professor there of Development Studies at the University of Fort Hare. I started this interview by saying we need to ask ourselves a tough question. A 5 million rand bounty on the head of an institution, and of course, as he just reminded us there, a deputy vice-chancellor assassinated. Who are we?
EWN Business.
Business news, Mateo. Retail sales growing in August.
Yeah, South Africa's retail sales grew modestly to 2.3% year on year in August. Despite the number being positive, it was still lower than the revised 5.7% in July. Data from Stats SA shows that the biggest drivers were other retailers, which grew by 7.9%. Hardware, paint and glass stores were up 8.1%, with general dealers up 0.8%. Now, food, beverages and tobacco sales fell sharply, while pharmaceutical and medical goods surged during the period.
The IMF saying some positive things about us.
Yeah, the International Monetary Fund has slightly increased South Africa's expected growth for 2025 to 1.1%, up from its previous forecast of just 1%. The IMF has raised its global growth forecast to 3.2% for 2025.
Your indicators?
Rand at 17 Rand 35 against the US dollar, holding on to slim gains against the US currency at 20 Rand 22 cents against the euro and 23 Rand 26 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $4,234 an ounce, while platinum is at $1,665. A Brent crude at $62.44 a barrel. Business after 8.
Straight to the news desk. Fuso Zulu, what conflict, says the DA?
That's right, Bongani. The party says its MP, Diane Kola-Barnard, isn't conflicted and doesn't have to recuse herself from Parliament's police corruption inquiry, and that's according to its own legal advice. Political parties like the ANC and MK Party had earlier called for Kola-Barnard's recusal from the ad hoc committee inquiry that's investigating police corruption after KZN top cop Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi accused her of mishandling classified intelligence information. Mkhwanazi told the inquiry last week that Kola-Barnard broke her oath of office as an MP after she shared sensitive information related to crime intelligence spending. The committee met last night to finalize its preparations on its list of witnesses. DA MP and committee member Glenis Breitenberg.
The conclusion reached by the independent counsel from the Cape Town Bar is that there is no factual basis to conclude that the Honourable Kola-Barnard is biased, conflicted or otherwise cannot participate in the ad hoc committee.
But the ANC's Kusela Diko says the committee must rely on Parliament's legal advice.
The DA opinion is a nice to have. It's good to see that the DA has sought an opinion, but it's not binding on the committee.
Please note the following story contains graphic details. A former primary school teacher in Cape Town accused of sexually grooming a 13-year-old boy is expected back at the Mitchells Plain Magistrates Court today. The 35-year-old woman is accused of sending the pupil explicit messages in a graphic video. She's currently out on 5,000 Rand bail with strict conditions. During her previous appearance, the court heard how she started conversations with the child on social media platforms such as TikTok and WhatsApp. Ntutuzelo Nene has the story.
The school's principal is also being investigated for allegedly obstructing and defeating the ends of justice following the teacher's arrest. In previous court appearances, new shocking revelations were shared by investigating officer Warrant Officer Roland Peters. Peters said the victim told him that the teacher messaged him suggesting inappropriate acts of a sexual nature. The 13-year-old boy also told the investigating officer that she would tell him that she thought of him while using sex toys. The victim added that he didn't understand what she was talking about and added that it made him feel uncomfortable. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
Education Quality Assurance Body Umalusi says it is satisfied with the progress of the appointment of people who will mark this year's Matric exam papers. This follows a shortage of markers reported for certain subjects for history and paper 3 home and first additional languages. Umalusi says while some bodies, including the Independent Examination Board and higher education departments, are still finalizing their appointments, it will continue to audit the process and ensure that it meets all required standards. Umalusi Senior Manager Mary Antoinette Dliwayo.
All markers appointed across the 4 assessment bodies will be trained prior to the commencement of the marking. The marking process will unfold in a staggered manner, commencing on the 15th of November and ending on 18 December 2025. Umalusi will monitor the implementation of a staggered marking approach to ensure that the process is not compromised.
And the DRC's former president, Joseph Kabila, has rallied opponents of the current government in Kenya, announcing a new movement to save his crisis-hit country. Kabila, who ruled the Democratic Republic of Congo for nearly 2 decades until 2019, was sentenced to death in absentia for treason by a military court last month. This week, he convened a conclave of prominent Congolese opposition figures in Nairobi, including former Prime Minister Augustine Matata Ponyo, who was sentenced in May to 10 years of hard labor. They've denounced President Felix Tshisekedi's inability to respond to multiple problems and calling on people to stand up and resist the dictatorship. Congolese Communications Minister and government spokesperson Patrick Muyaya has dismissed the meeting as a gathering of fugitives and convicts born of nostalgia for lost privileges. A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures are at lows of 10 and 15 degrees, peaking at highs between 31 and 33.
And in the traffic in Centurion, we still have got that accident on the N14 South, right near the Braakfontein interchange. At this particular moment, it's causing delays coming out of Littleton Road, about a 20-minute hold up towards the Braakfontein turn-off. Please be on the lookout there and drive with care while traveling on the N3. Both directions heavily backed up between Modderfontein Road and the Baklu interchange due to roadworks.
The top story, the DA says its MP Diane Kohler-Barnard isn't conflicted and doesn't have to recuse herself from Parliament's police corruption inquiry.
People are talking, everybody's talking, and they're saying it's time to make insurance great again. They said our low premiums were fake news. Wrong. We're putting customers first. We're going to drain the insurance swamp. It's full of hidden fees. But when we clean it up, believe me, it's going to be huge.
This message has absolutely nothing to do with the US government. It's paid for by the King of Insurance, who's making insurance great again. Get a quote now. It'll be the best decision people are saying ever. King Price is a licensed FSP. No fake news, just like her insurance.
Checkers Extra Weekend is back. For 3 days only, save extra on deals like Dower Egberts Instant Coffee 200 grams for 149 Rand. Save 66 Rand. Housebrand 2-ply toilet rolls 24-pack, 2 for 249 Rand. Save 91 Rand. And Ariel Liquid 2 litres or capsules, 14, 21 or 30-pack. Buy any 2 and get a third free. Save 120 Rand. Valid this weekend only at Checkers, while stocks last.
Calling all wedding planners and venues, restaurants, conference centers, and hotels. Do you need tables and chairs? Home in One has it all. Do you need cutlery, crockery, table linen, and restaurant equipment? Home in One has it all. Do you need tents, gazebos, or umbrellas? Home in One has it all. Affordable prices, the latest trends, with 2 branches in Pretoria and Johannesburg. Shop online at homein1.co.za because we're your number one choice. Home in One has it all.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Hi, good morning, Bongani. Team and all the listeners of 702 World. I think of this university that burnt down. I think, in my view, surely the university's got CCTV cameras. Those students who burned down the buildings, they should first pay the damages that they made, and from there, when that has been fully paid, they can go study any further. I think that they need to set a precedent that if in the future other students are burning down things, the same must apply to them.
Is it that simple? Is it that simple? Because one of the things you may need to consider is, aren't some of these students who are being used, and by the way, we are seeing this kind of thing. They haven't burnt anything yet as far as I know, but we're also seeing very similar moves at the University of the Free State. But coming back to Fort Hare, we all seem to have forgotten, we all seem to have forgotten that we've had premiers of the Eastern Cape. Not one, but we've had premiers of the Eastern Cape accused of falsifying their qualifications from Fort Hare University. That's how dirty and murky all of this was. Service providers were creaming that institution, winning tenders for work they never provided. Do you remember Professor Buhlungu's bodyguard was killed? He was shot. The aim was to kill Professor Buhlungu. They got to his bodyguard. That's what we are talking about when it comes to Fort Hare University. So, if a few useful idiots who perhaps were not going to pass this year anyway are influenced by corrupt criminal syndicates and politicians trying to serve their own ends, what difference will it make? I remind you, we've had premiers at Fort Hare accused of falsifying their qualifications. Some of them went on to serve in cabinet with those issues hanging over their heads. Because, this is Zada.
702
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance. It's your chance to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. So first, there's 1,000 Rand up for grabs for the answer, and then a little later, 2,000 Rand for the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask for 500 Rand from Outsurance. Today's answer comes from Bonga. Bonga, you are in Kagiso. Bonga, what's today's answer, please?
Good morning, Bonga. How are you?
I'm very well, Bonga.
Fine, thanks. The answer of today is songs in the key of life.
Oh, man, you just made my day. Songs in the key of life. Bonga, how about 1,000 Rand, hey? Coming your way, all thanks to Outsurance in 702.
Thank you very much.
Very much. Bonga says, the answer is songs in the key of life. It should be so easy. What's the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
Cindy Paluta. Lahore was, quite the spinner's paradise in the end. But to put the Proteas in context, before this loss, they'd won 10 on the trot.
Yeah, so people could argue that maybe the opposition wasn't so strong in the 10 that we beat, but we are currently the World Test champions for a reason. I mean, we won that mace quite spectacularly and beautifully. So we can't take that away from them. But yeah, that 10-match winning streak is over. And Captain Aiden Markram well aware of what needs to improve ahead of the second test starting Monday. Yesterday, they lost to Pakistan by 93 runs.
I think it's important to have ways to win games of cricket, even if you don't get the toss right. So I always laugh and say you don't come to win the toss, you come to win the game, and you've got to find ways to do that. We expected conditions to be like this. We expect it again for the second test match, and it's on us now as a group to go back and find ways to be better and to give ourselves a chance to win.
At the Women's World Cup, England and Pakistan's game was rained out, keeping England top of the table. Today, Australia plays Bangladesh. In the United Rugby Championship, the Bulls named Reynard Ludwig as captain for tomorrow night's game with Connacht. There's 11 changes to the side that lost to Ulster. Abroad, Ireland captain Caelan Doris is in the squad for the end-of-year tests. He's been out since May with a shoulder injury, but might miss the game against the All Blacks in Chicago. Joe McCarthy misses out altogether with a foot injury. At the Africa Hockey Cup of Nations, the SA men's team thrashing Ghana 11-3. They play Egypt in Saturday's final, while the SA women finished goalless with Kenya and must beat Nigeria tomorrow to make Sunday's final. In tennis, at the Six Kings Slam exhibition, defending champion Yannick Sinner beats Stefanos Tsitsipas 6-3, 6-3 and will play Djokovic in the semi-final. Taylor Fritz needed 59 minutes to beat Zverev 6-3, 6-4 and will play Carlos Alcaraz in the semis. Alcaraz and Djokovic were both given byes straight to today's semi-final. Each player gets 26 million Rand appearance fee and the winner takes home 78 million Rand. So this is that King Slam that is being streamed on Netflix, actually, because remember, Netflix is trying to break into the sport package.
Yeah.
And in Formula One, Mercedes confirming George Russell and Kimi Antonelli are their drivers for the next season. Earlier this year, Max Verstappen was approached, but confirmed in July he's staying at Red Bull. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Do you believe that the quality of universities has gone backwards? And I'm asking that because I saw a recent report indicating that only 3 South African universities have secured positions among the top 500 tertiary institutions worldwide. Should we be concerned about this?
University rankings, in their nature, they measure different issues. And that does not bother us. I'll give you an example. They measure how many researchers internationally have been absorbed in your system. Now, the question is, do we want that or don't we want that? Is that our main focus?
Dr. Petiwe Matutu, the Chief Executive Officer of Universities South Africa.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 200 gram or 230 gram Nescafe Classic Coffee granules or Doi pack assorted for $129.99 with Spar Rewards or 2 liters Spar full cream or low-fat ultra-pasteurized milk for $31.99. Save 5 Rand with Spar Rewards. Price is valid 8 to 20 October 2025 while stocks last. T's and C's apply.
The team's on a roll today. Let me focus on payroll. Duty calls in the kitchen.
That's why I have a business insurer that is agile and on the ball all the time on all things. I chose My Way Business Insurance, getting 24/7 emergency service and saving on my premiums, plus My Business Assist to handle my admin.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by the new Opel Grandland. With smart tech and striking design, it's German engineering on a grand scale. Test drive one today at your nearest Opel dealer. That crash in Centurion, Amo, how bad is it?
It's horrible, Bongani. It's causing heavy traffic volumes coming out of Littleton Road towards the Braakfontein interchange. It's actually right near the Braakfontein turn off. As a result, we're seeing several lanes of this highway closed off to traffic due to this scene. So if you're traveling around this area, maybe try to use the N1 South towards Roy Scroll or even Midrand. While traveling on the N1 South coming out of Linwood, expect delays towards the Flying Saucer turn off. Peak time delays there, as well as roadworks. There's also queuing traffic at the intersection of Namepius Drive and Main Road. This is due to faulty traffic lights there. Traveling towards Midrand, we've got some delays as well approaching Olifantsfontein Road. This is due to a car stuck on the road. It's in the left lane. It's causing delays. Please be on the lookout there and approach with care. I'll have more traffic updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Great entrance? Forget that. Make a grand entrance. Grand! Be late, make everyone wait, and be grateful they did. Peeps be rubbernecking, staring gormlessly like deer in your 50,000 intelligent LED headlights. Grand! Make a grand entrance in the new Opel Grandland, designed and made in Germany. Achtung, baby. Grand! It's even got massage seats. Uber grand! Visit opel.co.za for more.
702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance, please tell me what's the question. If the answer is songs in the key of life, let's go to Silas in Polokwane. Silas, what's the question?
Morning, Bongani. The question is, what is the name of the album by Stevie Wonder, which debuted on the Billboard charts on this day, 1976?
At number?
Which included songs at number one.
Number one.
Included songs like I Wish, Say Juke, and Isn't She Lovely?
Isn't She Lovely? And including this one. Right? Love's in Need Today. Silas, you're not in need because 2,000 Rand is coming your way. All thanks to Outsurance and 702. What a seminal album. Have a listen.
What I'm about to say could mean the world's disaster, could change your joy and laughter to tears and pain. It's that love in need of love today. Don't delay, send yours in right away. Hey, going round, breaking in. Looking back on when I was a little nappy-headed boy, then my only worry was for Christmas what would be my toy. Even though we sometimes would not get a thing, we were happy with the Kikolela, Igasasa, Kiakula, Ngotando, Kiakula, Kelingilanga, Tando.
You could spend 10 minutes waiting for the microwave to beep or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. SMS out to 45142. Like 55-year-old Stefan, who now only pays an unbelievably low 611 Rand a month for his 2024 Suzuki Jimny. With Outsurance, you can drive with confidence. With up to a whopping 5 million Rand third-party liability cover that covers damage to the other person's vehicle in an accident, you can rest assured. SMS out to 45142. After switching, 55-year-old Andre now pays only 776 Rand a month for his 2024 Toyota Urban Cruiser. Get a quote. If Outsurance can't beat what you're currently paying, ask them for 500 Rand. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you have nothing to lose. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
The all-new Audi A5 has arrived with a panoramic sunroof that changes transparency and a B&O sound system built into the headrests. Every detail makes driving feel like an art form. Visit your Audi dealership, book a test drive and experience the Audi A5 from 14,499 Rand per month with a guaranteed future value. Visit audi.co.za for more. T's and C's apply. Brought to you by Audi Financial Services, a division of Volkswagen Financial Services South Africa Pty Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
You can become a victim of a legal problem: wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Cape Talk to 31045. That's Cape Talk to 31045. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Brush, stroke, paint, color, protect, and admire. From roof paint to exterior textures and interior silk, Warrior Paints has it all. The product range and stylish colors are amazing. And what's more, Warrior Paints has crushed prices for incredible savings. Enjoy that good old-fashioned personal service you deserve. For price, quality, variety, and service, Warrior Paints is streets ahead. Warrior Paints. Affordable, lasting luxury.
702.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela.
Catch up now with the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Belle.
Or is that good night, love?
Good night, love. But I'll see you just now. So, I wonder in your household, if you live with your significant other and, it's close to bedtime, do you go to bed together or does the other partner stay up and, watch their shows or just have some me time or whatever it may be? And the reason we are talking about this is because on X, a person had posted a post that says, y'all males say good night and stay up for an extra 6 hours. And this post has obviously resonated with a lot of people. It's been viewed 14.8 million times.
My goodness.
So what are we all doing? Yeah, what are we all doing with our time when we've said goodnight to the significant other? And that's the question I wanted to pose to our 702 family this morning. So are you in a household where you maybe go to bed together because of, circumstances? Maybe you both get up early, or one of you is a night owl, a nachapi, and you like to stay up. What do you do whilst you're staying up? And you've said goodnight to your significant other. And does it bother you? Do you want to go to bed together? Or is it like, well, you do you, I do me. Maybe you go TikTok in your bed for a bit while he or she is, playing games or watching the series that they don't have a chance to because you've got to watch TV with the family and the kids and all that kind of stuff. So I'd love to hear our 702 family's situation this morning. I go to bed at the same time with the missus, and that's purely because we kind of get up early-ish. And that's that. Weekends, I might stay up a little bit later and watch my series, stuff that I don't really get to watch because, sometimes the Housewives of Potomac or whatever is on and I am forced to watch that. So what's your story?
Look, it's not reasonable to expect anybody that lives with me, including my children, to go to bed at the time I do because of my hours. So
No.
that's my excuse. What is yours? If you're one of those couples that don't go to bed at the same time, what's the reason? And do you wish your partner went to sleep at the same time you do? Let's talk. That's what's gone viral with Kabazela.
702.
702. Feedback.
With Siamtanda Matiso.
Problems you don't have, hey, Sia?
Not at all. Shame, man. Sia doesn't have a partner to go through like But I would say, though, as Amu will
she's putting
say
herself out
it.
there.
Yes, I'm putting it out there. I feel like I'm forced. Like, majority of us here are forced to be early birds, right? Because of our job. But, I mean, on Fridays, I'm sure you sleep late, Bongs.
Not every Friday, hey?
Really?
I have been known to go to bed early on a Friday because the body clock is just churning and doing its own thing. I can stay up late.
Yeah.
But there are many Saturday nights where I'm in bed by 9.
I'm better than you and I'm within.
I'm
Guys,
50
you guys are
and boring.
disappointing me.
I'm 50 and boring.
Boring, I wouldn't say you're boring, Bongs. I mean, you're not boring.
What else you got?
Anyways, favorite food. It's World Food Day today. People mention muhodu, sempen beans, kota, amagwinya. I'm just hungry just by hearing all of those voice notes and feedbacks. But most importantly, Bongs, huge reaction to your interview with Professor Bezuidenhout.
Yeah.
Many people saying, listen, these students who disrupted and did that violent unrest should face the consequences. I mean, they disrupted academic progress for the innocent students who wanted to go to school. So something needs to be done when it comes to this university.
I think what he said, his name is Andries, I should call him Andries.
Yep.
Andries Bezuidenhout was pointing out was that this thing is systemic.
Yeah.
And it has people pulling the strings from behind the scenes.
Yep.
Those looters and those arsonists are mere puppets.
Yeah.
Right? They are the useful idiots who are serving vested interests, who are intent on holding their own futures back. It's extraordinary. It really is quite extraordinary when you think about it deeply. Of course, those students should face the full might of the law. I'm not disputing that. But we've got to look deeper. And as I said earlier, an institution where premiers are accused of falsifying qualifications from, what does that tell you about how powerful those vested interests might be? 8 o'clock.
Absolutely.
This is EWN.
Government confirms a second missing plane has crashed in KZN, and the Gauteng government vows that public money will never be stolen again. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. We start with news just in. The search for a missing plane in KwaZulu-Natal has come to a tragic end, with the Provincial Transport Department confirming a short while ago that it crashed. It was one of 2 light aircrafts reported missing in the Midlands yesterday. The first one was found by search teams in the afternoon, while the second aircraft was discovered this morning. Both pilots, who are believed to have been flying solo, have been killed. The Gauteng Health Department has promised that there will never be another Tembisa hospital tender fraud scandal. The Special Investigating Unit recently released a report revealing that about 2 billion rand was looted from the facility. The department yesterday held a briefing saying systems have been put in place to prevent public money from being stolen again. Tabiso Goba reports.
Health MEC Nomantunko Moralihuku was in a different department when the looting of the Tembisa hospital took place. She says part of the controls she's put in since assuming the position is regular meetings with hospital CEOs where they make presentations on their financial expenditures. Komoralihuku says at the moment there is no evidence of any crime syndicates similar to the one at the Tembisa hospital operating in Gauteng's public healthcare facilities.
Definitely when there are issues, you will see the red flag. That's why our controls that we have are able to show us if there are any red flags. At the moment, we don't have any red flags in any institution.
The Health MEC has clarified that the suspension of the Health HOD Lesiba Malotana is not related to the SIU's investigation of the Tembisa hospital, but to a separate matter. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
Embattled Police Minister Senzo Mchunu will make his first appearance before Parliament today to answer allegations of undue political interference in police operations. Mchunu will give testimony before Parliament's ad hoc committee probing police corruption over 3 days, where he's likely to be questioned about alleged links to certain crime syndicate members who tried to influence the disbanding of the political killings task team. His appearance follows 2 days of testimony by suspended Deputy Commissioner Shadrack Sibia, who spoke about his alleged role in the disbandment of the task team and the removal of 121 case dockets from KZN to Pretoria. Babalondenza reports.
One of the main allegations leveled against Senzo Mchunu during the last 2 weeks of hearings is how he gave a directive to disband the political killings task team, an operational matter that is in the domain of the National Commissioner. Commissioner Fani Masemola told the committee during his submission last week that he disagreed with the move, but never got a clear answer from Mchunu. Mchunu will also be grilled over links to controversial businessman Brown Mokhotsi, who is accused of being part of the push to disband the task team. Committee chairperson Soviet Lechanyane said Mchunu's testimony will be over 3 days to give the evidence leader 2 days to lead evidence instead of 1.
Senior counsel has requested that we will allocate him a day and a half. So Thursday and Friday, the senior counsel will be leading evidence.
Mchunu will be questioned by MPs on Tuesday before Acting Police Commissioner Firoz Kachalia and former Police Minister Bheki Cele take the stand. Babalondenza, Eyewitness News.
Crime intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo will have to wait until next month to find out if he can return to work. Khumalo and 2 of his co-accused appeared in the Pretoria Regional Court yesterday on charges of corruption and fraud. They want their bail conditions relaxed so that they can return to work. But due to the magistrates recusing himself in the matter, the issue of their bail amendment has been delayed. Oren Singh reports.
Arrested in June on charges of fraud and corruption, crime intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo has not been allowed to return to his office due to his bail conditions. Khumalo and 5 other senior crime intelligence officials are charged with fraud and corruption related to the appointment of 30-year-old Daneo Mokwele to an executive position within the unit, despite her not having any previous policing experience. Mokwele has been charged with falsifying information on his CV. In August, Khumalo, Precious Madondo, and Josiah Slikalakala launched an urgent application to have their bail conditions relaxed so they can return to work. But the matter has yet to be heard, with the magistrate presiding over the case recusing himself on Tuesday. Yesterday, before the Pretoria Regional Court, the state said it would launch a review application in the High Court to set aside the decision of Magistrate Vusimuzi Mahlangu to recuse himself in the matter. Aryan Singh, Eyewitness News.
And hundreds of supporters have gathered outside the home of former Kenyan Prime Minister Raila Odinga following his death in India. The 80-year-old died from an apparent heart attack yesterday after he collapsed during a morning walk at a hospital in Kerala district. Emotional scenes of mourning broke out across Kenya for its perennial opposition figure who ran unsuccessfully for the presidency 5 times, most recently in 2022.
To us, he was like a father. He cared about the poor. He advocated for our rights. We are left as orphans. We don't know where to turn to. Nobody cares about us. Baba cared for us.
Gold is trading at $4,134.41 an ounce. The rand is at 17.34 to the dollar, 23.28 to the pound, 20.23 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $62.38 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 North between the N12 exit and the Deepkloof interchange while traveling on the Mike 1 North, bumper-to-bumper traffic between Boysons Road and Houghton Drive.
And in your sport, Tembi Kgatlana back in the Banyana squad for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. At the Six Kings Slam tennis exhibition semi-finals today, Sinner plays Djokovic, Fritz against Alcaraz. And the SA men's hockey team through to the final at the Africa Cup of Nations. They play Egypt on Saturday.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 31 and 33 degrees. The breaking story in EWN this hour: the search for a missing plane in KwaZulu-Natal has come to a tragic end, with the Provincial Transport Department confirming that it has crashed.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Sometimes they say the jokes write themselves, except sometimes these jokes are really not all that funny, are they? The Department of Health in Gauteng has vowed on their name, their reputation on the line. Never again shall it be. Not on their watch, they say. The 2 billion that was stolen from Tembisa Hospital, that tender fraud scandal, it'll never happen again. They held a media briefing. They say systems have now been put into place to prevent public money from being stolen again. You see, it is a joke, but it's not funny, is it? Because activists like Mark Haywood will tell you that in over a decade, 20 billion rand, 20 billion rand has been stolen from the Gauteng Health Department. Oh, you thought it was just Tembisa Hospital. 20 billion rand. But not on their watch, they say. Never and never again.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
It's all part of this quagmire of corruption, this cesspool, this gaping wound that has festered and now is oozing pus, a putrid yellow and green liquid, a mess of corruption that is vile. And you can smell it from far away, can't you? Whether it's higher education or the various departments of health, it's a society rotting from inside. What are we going to do about it is the question. What are we going to do about it? That's the question I want to know.
Let's talk.
We're listening.
Hi, Bungles and Kabazela. So I'm the night owl and my husband is an early bird. So our schedules always clash, but we don't clash as a couple because we understand each other's clocks. So when he's up, I'm not. And when I'm up, he's not. And it's fine. So I sleep much later than him and he sleeps and he wakes up much earlier than me. And yeah, that's cool.
Hi, Bongles and the team. Agnes here from Hearties. So my husband and I, we go to bed together, mostly because we have kind of the same schedule. We travel together for work and back home for school pickup. So we leave the house together and we get back together. So because our schedules are aligned, we go to bed together. And also because my son and I, we can't really sleep without him. So he needs to be there. But sometimes what he does, so 90% of the time we go to bed together, but sometimes what he does is he'll come to bed with us and wait for us to fall asleep. And then when we fall asleep, he'll even go and watch his movies. And sometimes he'll stay up till 2, 3 in the morning and then come back to bed. But as long as my son and I are asleep, we don't mind. And then on weekends, he will try and let me sleep in as much as possible. So when our son is up, he'll get up and then he'll take him and deal with him so that I can get a little bit more rest on Saturday. Thanks so much.
Hey, good morning, Bongani and the team. This is Morgetsi from Boxback. I'm one of those. I'm the one who always go late to bed. But my reason is just that I am studying. So I try by all means that every night I study, even if it's just one maybe page, just to make sure that come the exam time, I don't have much of work. So yeah, I don't go to bed with my wife. Thanks, great show as always, guys.
Ora Bongi and Kabazela. This is Flores from the Western Cape. Let me tell you, weeknights, me and my wife, we go to bed together because we both need to wake up early. But on weekends, I would set the alarm of my TV and I would just be there in bed, watch movies until I fall asleep. And yeah, We are happily married for 35 years, and she does not have a problem with me watching TV and sleep in the next morning because it is weekend. So yeah, but weekdays, no. We go to bed early together, switch off the TV, and yeah, and that works for us. Have a great summer. Bye-bye.
No matter how hard I try, Bongani, to stay up or to sleep late, I just can't do it. My system just crashes. And that's unfortunately part of the reasons why I'm no longer together with the mother of my kids. She used to come to bed around 10, 10:30 at night. While I was long gone, around 8:30, I'm gone. And then she wants to get in there and wake me up to do the mambo jumbo yana. That used to rub me the wrong way. And then, yeah, we used to fight a lot because of that.
Most usually, it's the guys who stay up much later. It's not very often that it's the other way around. That's a bit of an unusual situation. It can be frustrating, I suppose, when you're deep in your sleep and somebody wants to wake you up. Right, Mutewa?
You are in a pact for life. They have every right to wake you up. What is this?
I don't know about that.
What is this?
So do you sleep at the same time as your wife?
No. She goes to bed first.
What are these guys staying up to do? What are you doing? Because you have to get up at what time?
I have to get up at 3:30, 4.
And you still sleep late?
Yes, because I'm catching up on the news. I'm figuring out what the question will be in the morning. I'm doing all those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's all work.
Amo?
I'm always the first one to go. Guys, I used to be a night owl until I started working on this show. Then it stopped. I used to go to bed late in the night, but now I cannot anymore. 7 o'clock, I'm done. I just want to see myself in my bed, and that's that. And my husband will join me later on in the evening around 10 or 11.
And you don't wake up when he comes in?
I do wake up because I'm a light sleeper. You hear when someone is, putting on the light or switching on. Yeah, so I do.
Ooh, that's my worst. That's my worst. If I go to sleep and you turn on the light, World War V, nuclear war will
EWN Traffic.
It's 8:15. Coming up, a chance to win 5 tickets to the South African Future Trust Summit at the Sandton Convention Centre on the 5th and 6th of November. Would you like to come along? Bring 4 others with you? Well, why don't you WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702? And I really want some good stories, some good quality business growth stories. How would you benefit from attending the summit? Do so now, and you could win those tickets. Coming up, Amo?
Well, Bongani, we've got delays in Centurion on the N14 South. This is due to that accident is still there, unfortunately, causing more than a 20-minute hold-up coming out of Littleton Road towards the Brackfontein interchange. Please be on the lookout there. While traveling on the N1 South, heavier traffic volumes due to roadworks right at the Flying Saucer turn-off, queuing traffic coming out of Linwood Road towards Porter Avenue. And then we've got more roadworks taking place in Calvin and Alexandra on the N3 North right between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange, causing heavy traffic volumes. Please try to use the M1 North instead to head towards areas like Woodmead as well as Morningside. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
It's time to hit the streets and show what you're made of. The Discovery Vitality Chicken Run, flavored by Nando's, is on Saturday, the 8th of November at 5 o'clock. And this one's pure city magic, reimagined and revitalized through Josie My Josie. Choose 5K for fun or 10K for bragging rights. Not ready? Well, if you've sprinted for a taxi, dodged potholes, or climbed stairs when the power was out, you're trained. Getting there is easy. You'll go via the Gautrain to Park Station, then a free Prasa train to Ellis Park where the race will start. Lace up, show up, and enter now at racepass.com.
Breathe in, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. In, insurance. Breathe out, pineapple. Again. In, insurance. Out, pineapple. Again and again.
Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited.
a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Enjoy the thrill of the Soccer Punters Challenge Weekend Edition, an all-new platform from Hollywood Bets. You stand a chance to win a share of the 5 million rand jackpot when you bet 5 rand or more on selected EPL matches over the weekend and correctly predict 10 out of 10 winning margins. Or chase the share of the 50,000 rand leaderboard prize. Entry is free. Let this soccer season bring sizzling success. Bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is licensed by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
LLB graduates can fast-track their legal career with the Law Society of South Africa's PVT School for Legal Practice. LPC accredited, this 4-month practice-ready course, which is taught by practicing lawyers, can reduce your PVT contract by 12 months for admission. Study by day, after hours, or via distance at campuses nationwide. The first 2026 intake runs from January to April. Applications close 31 October 2025. Apply now at lssalead.org.za. That's lssalead.org.za.
For the first time ever, the G20 Summit is being hosted on African soil, a global moment of solidarity, equality, and sustainability with Africa at the center. So tune in tomorrow between 6 and 9 for the G20 Correspondence Desk on 702. It's brought to you by RMB and FNB, proud sponsors of this year's G20 Summit. The latest news, views, insights, and breakthroughs from the summit. The G20 Correspondence Desk on 702, brought to you by RMB and FNB, divisions of First Rand Bank Limited and authorized financial services and credit provider.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
19 after 8. Perhaps too much negativity. Let's move on to something positive now. Rising stars and raw South African talent. The Arts and Culture Trust's Nyuhula Scholarship Program is giving young creatives from across the country a real shot at their dreams. It could be you are from Guguletu or right here in Gauteng. 2 lucky winners get to win scholarships worth 300,000 rand to study the arts at an institution of their choice. So I am here in studio with me, Kitumetse Mbata, who's the Communications and Marketing Coordinator at the Arts and Culture Trust's Nyuhula Scholarship Program, but also with the 2 winners this year of that 300,000 rand scholarship to study the arts at an institution of their choice. I've got Lerato Sitole and Aluta Sio with me also in the studio. But Kitumetse, let me start with you perhaps. For listeners who may not know, tell me about the vision behind the Nyuhula Scholarship Program and why it was created.
Awesome. Good morning, Bongani, to you and your listeners, and thank you for having us. So I'm Kitumetse Mbata, Communications Coordinator at the Arts and Culture Trust. We are an organization that has been in existence since 1994, and we partner with Nedbank as well as MTN South Africa and Sun International and Business and Arts South Africa in basically doing this program, which is called Nyuhula. So it's a scholarship opportunity for young artists across all 9 provinces of South Africa. We take them on a training and mentorship journey that happens online over a period of 3 months. And we have visual artists, performing artists, so that would be your musicians, singers, dancers, and actors.
You're such a communications and marketing manager. Did you notice?
Yes.
You had to mention all the sponsors.
Yes.
Had to mention himself.
Yeah.
Who are you looking for?
Yeah, so we're looking for young artists that are coming from different provinces within the country. Mostly they come from township spaces, rural areas, but the opportunity is also diverse to a lot of different people. And basically we take them on a 3-month training journey where they do mentorship and training with industry experts.
And that's what I love. It isn't just throwing money and saying good luck, bye-bye, get on your bike, Bob's your uncle. You make sure that this money is being put to good use and that they're not too overwhelmed and intimidated by the new spaces they may find themselves in.
Exactly, because the whole idea is, a lot of young artists are there, they're talented, but they also need mentorship or a friend that's going to be with them throughout their journeys in the industry, and that's our aim.
All right, tell me about Aluta and Lerato. Why were they special? Why did they win? Let's start with Lerato first.
I'm getting super emotional over this. So we have 60 participants that go through the training program for 3 months, and then out of the 3 months we then select a top 15 that we normally fly into Johannesburg for what we call the finals week, where they get to showcase through a full-on theatre production if they are from the performing arts. And then we also have a visual arts exhibition where we get professional, young artists who are visual artists.
Yeah.
They get to showcase for the first time as professionals. They get to sell their original works for the first time. And we then had this exhibition that took place in finals week, which was last week.
All right, tell me about these two.
Cool. So then basically our Lerato Sithole, the visual artist, she was the top performing visual artist from the exhibition. Lokuzana Aluta was the top theatre artist.
All right, let me speak to them. Lerato, firstly, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Have you chosen your institution?
Yeah, I'm thinking about UJ, local colleges, Rosebank College, something really close to home.
Tell me about your winning piece. What did you showcase in your winning artwork?
I showcased a piece that is divided between two. One first is called Roots, the self-portrait, and the second is called Bloom, which really reflects my journey, and it's a way of me expressing that there's different seasons. One shows the seasons of rooting and grounding, and the next shows the season of blooming, which I feel I'm already in my season of blooming.
Why is it important for young people to study the arts?
I think we've always, parents and just adults always make us believe that wanting to go into arts is a way of you not wanting to go to school. But it's just as important for young people to express themselves and follow this thing that feels like a calling. You know, it's a voice that allows the young people to communicate their struggles, you know, to the world.
And it's something you really feel you can't say no to. Aluta,
yes.
Typical parent question. Congratulations,
Thank
by
you
the way.
very much, man.
Typical parent question. Does this thing have money, my child?
Yeah, I mean, I hear that question. I've received that question so many times. Ikoni mali, for sure. But, you know, if you're really passionate about something, you really focus on what it brings, what it gives to you, you know, what do you display, what you portray of it. So obviously it's just the art is beautiful, you know, but the money is a conversation for another time.
And not everything is about money.
Not everything
right?
is about money. It's just passion, to be honest.
Have you chosen your institution?
The one and only AFDA.
You're going to AFDA, and what are you going to study?
Live performance.
Live performance.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you both. I think this is a worthy effort. Lastly, Kitumetse, let me give you the last word. I mean, obviously, we're going to be looking ahead towards next year. Do you want listeners, sponsors to get involved? Where can they find out about this program, either to enter or to support?
Awesome. Thank you for that. So they can visit our website, which is www.act.org.za. So that's www.act.org.za. Or they can find us on social media as Arts and Culture Trust, ACT, and the open call is coming out very soon.
All right. We'll certainly keep an eye on that. Congratulations to our rising stars, Lerato and Aluta. And Kitumetse, what a fantastic program.
702, The Worldview.
With Adam Gilchrist.
Let's catch up with news from elsewhere in the world now. Adam, some concern now about next year's World Cup. We've qualified as South Africa, but where will we play?
Yeah, weren't we looking forward to the idea of South Africa versus England in Boston? Well, Boston is one of those places that President Donald Trump has decided has too much crime going on, and he's putting a lot of heat on the mayor of Boston, saying we could remove your right to host World Cup matches. And although technically, of course, it's not really in Boston where that match would be, it's at the New England Patriots Stadium, which is 50 kilometers outside of Boston, I think, more or less, anyway, but I suppose Boston area. But it's an interesting thought that Donald Trump says that Gianni Infantino, he would put pressure on him, and he's a mate And Gianni Infantino has responded by saying, well, absolutely, if the American president declares a city unsafe to host a World Cup match, then he would go with that. But how political is it? And interestingly, looking at the list of American cities, the top 50 American cities, 80% of them are Democrat mayors. So would that mean no World Cup matches in New York, Philadelphia, Washington, Baltimore, Chicago, Milwaukee, Houston, Nashville, Kansas City, Tampa, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco, Seattle, and Portland? In fact, it pretty much only leaves Miami, Oklahoma City, and Dallas. And you kind of think, when you put politics so directly into the running of a World Cup, also, question mark, what does it mean for the Los Angeles Olympics in 2028? Because you can't just move an Olympic Games. You could arguably just move a couple of football matches. But yeah, it's a very different kind of sporting landscape, isn't it?
I think FIFA bosses have long added a new meaning to that saying, who pays the piper picks the tune. I think, Adam, talk to me about China's map muddle.
Yeah, this is basically a big seizure of maps made by Chinese customs officers. They were being sold, they were being exported from a company in China, and they found these 60,000 maps in Shandong province. 60,000 maps, that's a lot of mappage. They say they had been mislabeled by putting the island of Taiwan in separately to China. In other words, it wasn't the same color, it wasn't a territory of, it was named as a self-governed island of Taiwan. Of course, Beijing claims it to be part of China. So, of course, just making something yours on a map doesn't actually make it yours. But they say that officials also say that they omitted other islands in the South China Sea, those disputed islands with the Philippines and Vietnam. Again, Donald Trump can say it's the Gulf of America, not the Gulf of Mexico, but my map hasn't changed. I learned about yours. The problem is that he who invents the map basically creates the unity, the sovereignty, the integrity, and kind of rules the world. Wasn't that the case in the 16th century onwards? So if you're in charge of the map, are you in charge of the geography as well? I have to say, I do get a bit vexed when people miss the hyphens out of Hare on the Hill where I live. I like a hyphen in the name of where I live. How upsetting is it, though?
It can be very upsetting, Adam, particularly if your continent is always being shrunk on almost every map. But that's a story for another day. Adam Gilchrist with this morning's Worldview.
Cheers.
EWN Business.
All right, Mateo, retail sales growing by 2.3% in August. This is positive news.
Yeah, and it's happening at a good time ahead of the bumper shopping season in South Africa between November and January. South Africa's retail sales grew modestly to 2.3% year on year in August. Now, despite the number being positive, it was still a little lower than the revised 5.7% in July. Data from Stats SA shows the biggest drivers were retailers, which grew 7.9%, hardware, paint and glass stores up 8.1%, with general dealers up 0.8%. Food, beverages and tobacco sales fell sharply, with food inflation going down, while pharmaceutical and medical goods surged during the period. On a seasonally adjusted monthly basis, retail trade declined 1.2% in August. And despite the slowdown, some retailers are still positive about the future, with food inflation still low and, of course, ahead of that bumper shopping season in South Africa.
Growth, and more growth.
Yeah, the International Monetary Fund has slightly increased South Africa's expected growth number for 2025 to 1.1%, up from its previous forecast of just 1%. The IMF also raising its global growth forecast to 3.2% for 2025. It cited the agility of the private sector and the negotiation of trade deals, but still talks about that trade in terms of it being a weakness for growth for the global economy, saying that the trade fragmentation is causing some weakness as well.
Your indicators?
Rand at 17 Rand 33 against the US dollar, 20 Rand 21 cents against the euro, and at 23 Rand 25 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $4,217 an ounce, or platinum at $1,659. Brent crude at $62.42 a barrel. Stephen Grotes with more business this afternoon.
Time now for your latest eyewitness news. Let's talk about this tragedy in KZN, Sfiso Zulu.
That's right, Bongani. Good morning. A search for the missing plane in the province has come to a tragic end, with the Provincial Transport Department confirming that it crashed. It was one of two light aircrafts reported missing in the Midlands area yesterday. The first one was found by search teams in the afternoon, while the second aircraft was discovered this morning. Both pilots, who are believed to have been flying solo, have been killed. Department spokesperson Tembisa
The second aircraft has been located. Unfortunately, the pilot suffered fatal injuries. The search and rescue team has now moved into the second phase of their operation.
The deadline to submit annual income tax returns is looming. SARS is urging non-provisional taxpayers to file their returns before Monday, that being the 20th of October. The tax agency says it's made every effort to simplify and support the filing process through enhanced digital platforms, auto assessments, and accessible helplines. Lauren Isaacs takes a look.
SARS Commissioner Edward Kisvetter has extended his appreciation to the 80% of taxpayers who had filed before the deadline. This includes about 6 million taxpayers who have been auto-assessed and received their refunds within 72 hours. With only 4 days left, the Commissioner has warned that failure to submit a return by deadline is a serious offence, and non-compliance can lead to administrative penalties and interest charges. The Revenue Service says many taxpayers wait until the last minute to file their returns, hoping to meet the deadline. But rushing invites errors, misjudgments, unnecessary stress, and long queues at SARS branches. Lauren Isaacs, Eyewitness News.
The ANC-led multi-party coalition government in Gauteng says it has proved naysayers wrong who believed it wouldn't last long. It's been more than a year since the government of provincial unity was formed, consisting of 4 different political parties. The unity is a minority government, making less than 50% of total seats in the legislature. ANC Gauteng member and education MEC Matume Chilwane yesterday spoke about the coalition's success during a media briefing.
There's no problem. Even in the legislature, there is nothing to worry. We passed the budget seamlessly. There are those who naysayers will say we will not be able to pass a budget. We pass a budget faster than even provinces where it's led by one party. We are very quick. So we don't have those challenges at all. I think we co-govern with those that are in cabinet and those that are outside cabinet. We give them an opportunity to engage and contribute.
And emergency power outages have been brought in across almost all of Ukraine after an intensive campaign of Russian airstrikes on energy infrastructure. This will be the 4th consecutive winter of blackouts throughout Ukraine since Russia launched its full-scale invasion in February 2022. The Energy Ministry says all but 2 regions have been affected. Ukraine has meanwhile ramped up its attacks on Russian oil refineries in border regions and beyond. A fine day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures will peak at highs between 31 and 33 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3, both directions between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange. That's due to roadworks along that route in 4 ways. An accident is still there on Winnie Mandela Drive right near Leslie. Delays from Witkoppen Road.
The top story, the search for a missing plane in KwaZulu-Natal has come to a tragic end, with the Provincial Transport Department confirming this morning that it crashed.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for pharmacies, convenience stores, beauty salons, and more. Corne?
Business Outsurance is definitely the best insurance for my business. Bowled out every other insurance house. Honestly, looking at what you need, my installment came down within a day. Definitely the most professional.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Zahira was tired. So tired, she let her eyes rest a bit. It was bad.
So bad.
She replaced 4 hours of spreadsheets with... It was bad.
So bad.
Too bad she didn't have Yoko Counter. It automatically recon sales, tracks stock, and staff performance.
So good.
Yoko Counter. Super simple POS and payments in one. No contracts, no hidden costs.
Checkers Extra Extra Weekend is back. For 3 days only, save extra on deals like Pringles 165 grams, any two for 89 Rand, save 51 Rand. Lancewood bulk cheddar or Gouda cheese, 900 grams for 119 Rand each, save 41 Rand. And Pampers Premium Care nappies or pants, buy any two and get a third free, save 330 Rand. Orange is the new black. Valid this weekend only at Checkers, while stocks last.
702
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Top of the morning, Mr. Bingwa and 702 lenders. I do not go to bed. The bed calls me. If I were to go to bed, it's like a chore. I will not fall asleep. I'll be tossing and turning. So I must be reading, doing something until I eventually doze off, then drag myself to it because the bed is calling me. Thanks for a great show. As always, Tepo in Boxburg.
Bongs. For me, Chief, I sleep very, very late. I tried to sleep as early as I could. I can't. Normally, my wife is the first one to go and sleep. Look, we have accepted the status quo to say we differ in terms of sleep patterns. But however, I try by all means not to interfere with sleep. Thank you, Bongs, for the topic. Quite interesting one.
Hi, Bongani. I basically, even when we watching TV together with my girlfriend, if I'm sleepy, I'll say let's go to bed, and if she's sleepy, she'll say let's go to bed. And whether I'm sleepy or not, if she's sleepy, then we'll go to bed. The thing with her is that even if she feels sleepy on the couch, when she goes to bed, that sleep goes. But with me, I'll never fall asleep on the couch. But if I get to bed, I face up, I'm gone, dead. But with her, she'll find out I'm already sleeping, and then she'll be watching series, catching up on a series, then sleep late at night at 12.
Morning, Bongani and the team. My partner and I go to bed at the same time, but 15 minutes after he's sound asleep, and I'm doing all sorts of things like always fidgeting or reading a book or that kind of thing. But I will sleep probably 4 hours. I will doze off 4 hours after going to bed. Yeah, and that makes us fight because he's always asking like, "Oh, uphithizela wenza ntoni?" Because I'm always doing something, picking up after the kids, that kind of thing. So yeah.
Oof, the other one is the cell phone light, hey? So you both agree to go to bed at the same time, but the other one is not sleepy, so they're busy on their phone. And you wake up and there's this bright light, and I'm just like, I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever it may be. Cindy, these are not problems you have.
These are all the problems I have, Bongani. The cell phone light kills me, but it obviously bugs both of us. But when you sit in there and it actually wakes you when you roll over in the night because you're half asleep and that light is, you're like, why is it so
Still
bright?
on your phone.
Right, just don't be on your phone. And the going to bed, my husband's very understanding. He just said, you need to go to bed way earlier than me.
Yeah, of course.
End of story. Sometimes you'll find me lying there watching TikTok.
Waiting for him.
Sometimes I hear him come upstairs. I quickly switch off my phone or whatever. I pretend I'm sleeping.
Yeah, no.
EWN Sport.
But I'll tell you why I do that.
Yeah.
Because if he comes in and
you're going to wake up.
No, he sees me on my phone.
Yeah.
Then he'll lie in bed on his phone.
Because
now we're both on our phones.
Yeah.
But if I pretend I'm sleeping and the phone's off, then he won't be on his phone.
Yeah, and then you might actually fall asleep.
And then we will fall asleep.
Oh, let's talk the world of sport. Banyana also now in the news.
Yes, because Thembi Kgatlana has been named in the squad to play the women's AFCON qualifiers next week. Kgatlana, who previously criticised SAFA for their handling of the women's national team, had taken time out for personal reasons. Banyana assembles today before heading to Kinshasa to play the DRC on Wednesday with a return leg in Joburg on the 28th. Some breaking news from the world of rugby. SANS are confirming that there will be no rugby championship next year. They've rescheduled things over the next 5 years, but that New Zealand will apparently come to South Africa and play 3 tests in what is being billed as the greatest rivalry.
Oh, wow.
In tennis at the Six Kings Slam exhibition, defending champion Sinner beats Stefanos Tsitsipas 6-3, 6-3. It'll play Djokovic in today's semi-final. Taylor Fritz needed 59 minutes to beat Zverev 6-3, 6-4. It'll play Alcaraz. Alcaraz and Djokovic were given byes straight to today's semis. At the Women's Cricket World Cup today, Australia will be playing Bangladesh. Yesterday, rain ruined Pakistan's chances of getting a famous win over England. The game reduced to 31 overs per side. Pakistan was 34 without loss, chasing down 134 when rain stopped play. In rugby, again, the Bulls have made 11 changes. They've named Reynard Ludwig as captain. This is for tomorrow night's game with Connacht. At the Africa Hockey Cup of Nations, the SA men have reached the final. They beat Ghana 11-3. They face Egypt on Saturday, while the women have to beat Nigeria tomorrow to make Sunday's final.
Imagine if it was the football Cup of Nations.
It would be so cool.
11-3, wow.
It would be so cool. Live golf from the India Open. Kaita Nakajima and Jorge Campello joint leaders on 6 under after 15 holes, 2 ahead of the field, while Rory McIlroy's 3 off the pace on 3 under through 15 as well. The highest placed South African Jaden Shaper finished the round 4 off the current pace on 2 under. 1 ahead of Richard Sterney, who finished his round on 1 under. And the Formula One's in the USA this weekend, where Mercedes confirmed George Russell and Kimi Antonelli will be their drivers for next season, but wouldn't say how long their contract extension is for. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
You can become a victim of a legal problem: wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS KFM to 49013. That's KFM to 49013. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Why wait? Sell your ride now and enjoy instant payment with a seamless experience. WeBuyCars isn't playing around when it comes to buying cars. It's faster and easier than you think. Curious about what they'll offer? Visit webuycars.co.za today. Looking for your next ride? Explore a massive range of cars, bikes, boats, bakkies, and more online or in-store. WeBuyCars, the best way.
EWN Traffic.
All right, it's 8:45 on the nose. Amo, let's wrap up the morning's traffic. How are things looking at this hour?
Well, Bongani, we still have got queuing traffic in Centurion. Unfortunately, that accident is really a major one on the N14 South before the Brackfontein interchange. It is causing heavy traffic volumes coming out of Littleton Road. Expect about a 20-minute hold up there. If you're traveling on the N1 South, a slight backup coming out of the Flying Saucer interchange towards Water Avenue. This is due to roadworks along this route. And then if you're heading towards the Baklu turn off Sunning Hill, Woodmead, as well as Midrand, delays in Calvin on the N3 North. This is due to roadworks right near the Baklu interchange, about a 30-minute hold up from Vincent Chabalala Road. More updates coming up at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Your office is more than just a place to work. It's a reflection of your success. At Desk and Chair, we help you elevate your workspace with locally manufactured desks and a wide range of chairs to suit your style and budget. Our expert consultants are with you every step of the way, from planning to delivery and assembly. Visit our showroom in Midrand or shop online at deskandchair.co.za. Desk and Chair. Think, feel, work better.
You could spend 10 minutes on social media or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For his 2024 GWMP series, 54-year-old Amos now pays only 1,004 Rand a month. And for his 2024 Toyota Urban Cruiser, 55-year-old Andre pays just 776 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Morning, Bongani.
This is why I love listening to 702. When you hear exactly from the horse's mouth things that is of national importance, then you can make up your mind. And in this matter with the university, I feel shame and pain. Corruption has got, it's the fiber of who we have become. It makes me horribly sad that our children and their children will have to deal with this, and it's not fair. As law-abiding citizens, it's not fair.
It isn't. It just isn't. And the implications, of course, for particularly the students of Fort Hare is that this kind of thing can set back students maybe even for years. And as you heard from Professor Besadenhout, it's not the kids of the well-heeled who go to Fort Hare University, not any longer. It used to be, but not any longer. And maybe that's why the politicians can afford, in their own minds, to turn a blind eye to what's going on there.
It won't just be minds in a room, it will be futures in the making. Are you ready to claim yours? The South African Future Trust Summit on 702. Your summit, your way.
We asked you to send us a WhatsApp to tell us how you might benefit from attending the South African Future Trust in partnership with Standard Bank. It's returning to the Sandton Convention Centre on the 5th and 6th of November. And really, all of that is fast approaching. It's a premium entrepreneurial showcase with international and local speakers sharing groundbreaking insights from their entrepreneurial journeys. There'll be over 2,000 delegates and over 200 exhibitors, all under one roof. It's an extraordinary world of thriving business owners and entrepreneurs. The tickets are 1,800 Rand each for the 2 days, and you can get them at summit.southafricanfuturetrust.org in partnership with 702. Now, Tabang in Sebokeng sent us a WhatsApp to tell us how he might benefit from attending. Tabang, do you want to tell us that story?
Hi, Bongani, morning.
Good morning, Tabang. Go ahead.
Yeah, Bongani, for the past 2 years, actually, I became blind, but I'm continuing with business.
Gosh,
so
Tabang.
I saw an opportunity
to
go and explore available opportunities for people like in my conditions. And also, I wanted to go and share platform with my counterparts to share knowledge and ideas. And also, I also wanted to go and find out what funding and development are available.
Right. How did you lose your sight, if I may ask?
Oh, I had a tumor. I had a brain tumor.
Oh my goodness.
It damaged my optic nerve. Then after an operation, I lost my sight.
Completely?
Completely.
Goodness me. How has your life changed?
It has, Bongani. But I don't know, by the grace of God, I managed to cope. Here I am able to communicate with 702 and the rest of the world.
And you want to start your own business,
by the grace of, I'm still continuing.
Listen, we'll give you those 5 tickets to the South African Future Trust Summit. I particularly appreciate that you don't only want to find out information for yourself, but you want to take others in your situation to see what might be possible for them. So absolutely worthy winner, Tabang in Sebokeng, winning 5 tickets to the South African Future Trust Summit. Thanks to the South African Future Trust Summit 2025, where bold ideas meet transformative investment on 702.
So you thought you were building a business in this economy, but day by day, somehow it grew. You kept going when the freezer didn't freeze, the bucket didn't budge, and the bank balance barely blinked. So you thought you were building a business. You weren't. It was building you. Because this isn't just what you do anymore. It's who you are. And you don't trust just anybody to protect it. Chat to your broker about Old Mutual Insure Business Insurance. Protect what built you. Old Mutual Insure Limited is a licensed FSP and non-life insurer.
Medical care, like music, needs continuity. A steady rhythm and pattern. Patients attended to on time. Medication taken as prescribed. Got the rhythm? and it falls apart. Right now, global funding cuts are restricting access to healthcare. With your support, Doctors Without Borders can continue to provide medical care to communities worldwide. Because medicine, like music, only works when uninterrupted. Doctors Without Borders, we go there.
It is said that listening to Mozart could boost intelligence. So we at RMB bought this extended radio spot to give you 30 seconds of Mozart just to get some thinking done. That was nice, huh? Just some time to think. Well, that is precisely what we do at RMB. Invest in the time to think of smarter solutions for our clients. RMB, Solutionists Love Company. RMB is a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Oh, man. The Hammer, Andy Narl. You know that feeling when you hear a song and that first note hits and the world, I don't know, it feels like it slows down somehow. Right? There's some artists who have a signature sound. You can't confuse it with any other. Andy Narl has certainly been a pioneer of the steel pan and really made it mainstream in so many ways. And that's exactly what's going to happen at the Artistry Santon this October. The legendary steel pan master Andy Narl from the USA will be performing, but also Janie McPherson from Cuba, and of course our very own rhythm powerhouse Thomas Jani from South Africa, are all going to be on a single stage. It's going to be a night of pure magic, musical genius, jazz, steel, and soul blending into something unforgettable. For over 25 years, Andy Narl has been captivating South African audiences with his signature Caribbean-infused jazz sound. I first saw him, I think, all the way back to one of those 702 Jazz at the Zoo concerts. And Andy Narl, I'm pleased to tell you, is with us this morning. Andy, welcome back to South Africa. You've been coming in and out of this country for 25 years. South Africa loves you, and you love us.
Hello, I'm just coming into the meeting here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. You're live on the air. I'm saying
great.
I was saying.
I hear you now too.
Oh, fantastic! I was saying you've had this 25-year relationship with local jazz lovers. You love us. We love you.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. You know, it's true. I do love it here so much. I love the people here. I love coming down here to play and just everything about it, you know.
Tell me about what you're going to be doing.
Really happy to be back.
Tell me about what you're going to be doing at the Artistry Santon this October.
Yeah, well, it's tonight, and I'm here with an incredible piano player, singer from Cuba that I've been working with for 15 years. Her name is Janie McPherson, and she came down to. We had some bunch of concerts planned, and some things got canceled. So this week, we're spending our time playing at schools and universities in the Joburg area, And we're doing a concert tonight at Artistry in Sandton. And we're going to do it as a trio with Thomas Diani on percussion. And Louis M. Khalanga is going to come by and sit in on a few tunes on guitar. But it's built around this duo that we do. I play steel pans and she plays piano and sings. And she's just an amazing musician that lights up the room. And so we have a repertoire of like original music and jazz standards and calypsos from Trinidad and all kind of stuff. And it's should be a lot of fun tonight.
You have in many respects, Andy, you've pioneered the steel pan sound in terms of making it mainstream. What inspired that choice?
Well, I've been playing since I was a little kid. I fell into this. I was playing steel band music as a little kid. My father started steel bands at community centers on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, working with kids in gangs. And my brother and I started playing, and we, as kids, we played several hundred gigs as kids in that time period while I was. And at the same time, I discovered that there was this jazz out there. My parents bought me an FM radio when I was like 13 years old, and I started listening to jazz, and it was like, I want to be like those people. I want to play that music, and so I went that direction, and eventually kind of got more and more interested in all kinds of Afro-Caribbean music, Afro-Brazilian music, West African music, South Africa, and so on. And it all just kind of came to be part of my approach and style, a very eclectic style. And I wanted to be a composer and a recording artist. So I just went for it, At the time, nobody was saying like, yeah, sure, come into our band with a steel pan and like be a jazz soloist and explore all the possibilities and everything. So I went right towards the band leader thing early on. It was the only way I could like put the pan out front as a melodic voice, a soloing instrument.
And can I tell you, we've all been grateful. Audiences around the world have been grateful that you did indeed make that choice. And as somebody who performs around the world, what makes South African audiences stand out? What is it about us that you always remember?
Well, recordings are like a message in a bottle. And you put them out there and you really don't know where it's going to land and what's going to happen. And it was like the most surprising thing to me that like the reception for my music, it's probably been the strongest, uniquely and incredibly strong here in this country. This is the only place I go in the world where I start playing tunes that I wrote and the audience starts singing along to instrumental tunes that I wrote. Now you think that's normal and everywhere, but it's not. It's here, only here. And I've had, I had a period where I had a lot of airplay in America and people knew my song, but it's a really special feeling here. It was sort of like it just got over with a lot of people here. My first gig here, I saw Brahu a few weeks before I came here in 1999. And he said, there are going to be a lot of people at your gigs. Your music's popular in South Africa. And I thought he meant a few hundred people. And then I got here and I played at Zoo Lake. The first gig was Arts Alive.
I was there.
And there were 70,000 people out there, and they knew the songs and they were singing along. It was the shock of my life, the biggest shock I ever had, And it was like after we did like 5 concerts there, we played in Joburg, we played in Durban, Cape Town, Pretoria. And it was like, boy, when can I come back?
Well, listen,
I just want to come back.
We are glad.
And I came back like seven months later, and we played 14 concerts all over the country, and it was just it's been like that ever since for me. Just an amazing experience to be here. I have a band with guys who've been playing with me for 25 years, some of them. Louis M. Khalanga and Rob Watson and
those are incredible names to South African audiences. We are absolutely grateful that you are back. It's happening at the Artistry Listening Bar Theatre. That's round the corner from where we are, 22 Fredman Drive, Sandton. It's happening tonight from 6 p.m. Make sure you get your tickets because it's going to be an absolutely fantastic show, an intimate setting with Andy Narl, who is really the pioneer of the steel pan as an instrument. And we're grateful to talk to you on 702 Breakfast.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
Right, before I get a smack on the bum from Clement Manyatela, it's time for me to say goodbye. We'll see you tomorrow for the Friday edition of 702 Breakfast.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. The search for a missing plane in KwaZulu-Natal has come to a tragic end, with the Provincial Transport Department confirming this morning that it crashed. It was one of two light aircrafts reported missing, while the second